saw in London.
I think going into the season, there was just a lot of excitement around, you know, like all the new things that are happening, the new faces. Everyone's just looking forward to what the new season has to offer, all that kind of thing.
We felt pretty, like, maybe overly confident going into preseason, so we were expecting maybe to be like blowing teams out in preseason, and that wasn't necessarily the case. But I think so far so good, but we'll see when the games actually count.
Watch a new episode of The Dylan Show this Monday at 6 p.m. while I chat with Belleville Senators GM Matt Turek and singer-songwriter Avery Raquel. Watch on Monday nights at 6 p.m. on Cable 14 and Cable 14.
And first, number 10, I'm going to give you Venusaur, obviously one of the Pokemon, the end evolutions of the Bulbasaur, one of your starters. And while he's number 10, doesn't mean that he's bad per se, but it does mean he's not as good, in my opinion, as Charizard or Blastoise. Venusaur, his type is grass and poison, and in Gen 1, there's not a lot of Pokemon that are weak against that. Most of the Pokemon you fight against are grass and poison themselves. Number 9, I'm going to give you Tauros. A bit of a weird choice because normal type doesn't seem like it's really going to be that much better than, say, a type that actually has an attack thing. But fight. Also, no one chooses Tauros, so I'm just special. Number 8, I'm going to pick with Gyarados, a kind of almost pseudo-legendary Pokemon that a lot of people love just because he's a giant, big, spooky snake lizard thing that evolves from one of the weakest Pokemon in all of Pokemon history, that being Magikarp. Lots of stats, big numbers and this and that. Probably, if anything, I'm kind of ranking him a little lower than he should be. But Gyarados is one that I remember my brothers would always argue that I couldn't put him much higher, is because it's kind of hard to train. He gains very little experience, and he generally, you'd have to teach him some good TM moves to make him really worthwhile. Number 6, I'll give you Blastoise. Probably my favorite starter to generally choose, but I'm not going to be too biased about this one because Blastoise statistically has probably the weaker of the stats of the 3 starters. That being said, Water type is very useful in Gen 1 as well as most Pokemon generations, as you always have access to the move Surf. Nice. Him being fire flying also gives you the ability to give him Fly, the ability to move from town to town. But I don't think I can honestly give him a higher ranking just because he has a bunch of weaknesses generally that you find with some Pokemon like him. His speed's okay, his special stat is pretty okay, and his attack's high for a Pokemon who doesn't have many attacking moves. But he's still pretty good. Number 4, I will give Jolteon, because Jolteon is very fast and has got very high special. 2 stats that all you basically speedrun the entire game with, only play with one Pokemon. High stats, high everything when you ask about it, and giving you one of the most powerful moves, that being Thrash, that just constantly does damage over and over again, as well as a great pool of other moves that you can teach him, like Surf, like Earthquake, like Thunderbolt. He's just a tank in a lot of ways. Number 2 will be Starmie. As you see, there's a bit of a theme with if you can use and learn Surf, you're pretty good in this game. But Starmie in itself both can learn Surf, as both a psychic type, which I may have described. Come on.
On this episode of Mavericks, we meet a Hamilton physician whose work centers on the most anguishing edge of medicine, a world most of us can barely imagine, where childhood, heartbreak, and courage meet.
Hi, I'm Dr. Mark Levine, retired medical oncologist and breast cancer researcher. I'm also one of the founders.
The following is a Cable 14 sports presentation.
You got the songs in your heart, you got them in your head. Beautiful, beautiful job by them to get us ready tonight. It's a beautiful night for some baseball. It's a beautiful night to head into the All-Star break, which is what the two teams will do after tonight. This is the final game before the CBL All-Star Weekend, which this year will be in Chatham, Kent, at the wonderful Fergie Jenkins Memorial Stadium. Brent Gunning, Matt Creeley alongside me. Matt, how you doing tonight?
I'm very well, Brent. How about yourself?
Doing well, doing well. Always fired up to watch a little baseball. Always fired up when it's Hector Yan on the mound tonight, and that's exactly who gets the ball for the Cardinals. And Fridays quickly becoming Yan nights here at Bernie Arbor Memorial Stadium. We saw him spin a gem last week. He will look to do the same. I wouldn't go as far as to call it a surprise, but Yan has been one of the very positive results we've seen from the first half of the season for the Cardinals.
Yeah, no doubt about it, Brent. And fresh off their best 20-game start in franchise history, the Cardinals had their 6-game win streak snapped surprisingly on Wednesday night by these very Toronto Maple Leafs. Toronto is still in last place in the standings, but they were coming off.
Well, a team like the Leafs going to come and snap your road or your win streak on the road. Not going to let them have any fun in the crowd tonight. Will be Hector Yan getting it started. You see the Leafs lineup there. Brandon LaRue starts things off as a shortstop. Yasiel Puig's in right. J.J. Dutton in center. Marcus Connect is the DH. Dennis DeBanning's in left field. Spencer Ross is the third baseman. And Crix Tavares is the second baseman. Willianius Alvarado gets the ball for the Leafs. We'll talk about them plenty tonight. We'll see how Hector Yan gets it started. He does exactly that, bouncing back after a first pitch ball, bringing the count to 1-1. I think the most impressive thing we've seen about Yan this year in games is only going to become more important as the season gets a little more compact in the second half.
Yeah, it sure does, and it feels like every start we've seen something different from Yan that we haven't seen before. And for a guy who was number 3 on the depth chart coming into the year, he's been outstanding through 6 starts so far, a .235.
A lot of that from Yan this season. You know, for a strikeout pitcher, you're always happy when they're racking up the strikeouts, but obviously you would like there to be a little lengthier appearances for him, and he's done exactly that. Now, as far as star power goes in the CBL, there is plenty of it, no shortage of it from your Cardinals, including plenty of all-stars, which we'll talk about tonight. On first, I was building up. I was going to talk about the great battle we were going to see between Yan and Puig. Evidently not, Matt.
Yeah, and Hector right out of the gates here, showing Puig maybe that he's not too intimidated by him whatsoever. Yasiel didn't take that in too dangerous of a part of his body. He's going to walk down to first.
Don't get hit by the pitch. That's #1 draft pick if we're doing it. In the butt feels like the next biggest area you'd want it, you know, generally speaking, a little more muscle there. Right in the back, could not have hit the middle of his 6 any better there. Pretty good place for it to be. Again, there's no fun parts, but that's not a bad one for Puig. We've seen this a little bit from Dangerous, and Yan all of a sudden quickly has got himself in an 0-2 count again. You know, if you're a strikeout pitcher, you want to do that working from ahead, and so far so good for Hector Yan tonight outside of the hit batter.
Yeah, he's been getting ahead in counts more frequently than any pitcher on this Cardinals staff, and you see in the season numbers how that's paying dividends.
Yeah, you certainly do. Here is what shakes out regarding the rest of the night. We'll have plenty more updates for you on that. That ball is hit by Dutton, looks to be in the gap, although Dominguez ranging over and makes the catch. No problem for him there. Puig works his way back to first, and it is another quick out for Hector Yan. You know, we saw this last Friday. As the game goes on, of course, the at-bat's going to get a little...
A hard line drive to Dutton. You want it close enough in the gap that an outfielder can find it with the glove, and they got lucky there.
Yeah, he was helped out by the right-handed batter. That ball kind of slicing towards Dominguez in right field there really kind of helped them out. That's a lefty. You wonder if that maybe tails away from him a little more. Obviously, Duncan got good range out there, and we'll talk about the catch he made that made very good, weighing in on what a very good catch it was for Tyler Duncan. Love seeing him get his shine because it is deserved with the bat, absolutely. But they don't put you in center field because you can't do that. And it was a. I'm sure he would have liked it to have been a little cleaner, but the little bobble just allowed the play to be even. Massive stuff from Duncan again. We are no strangers to that here. It is a 1-2 count. Hector Jan working. Got connect the DH up at the plate. Thought about pulling the trigger on the swing. He does not. Wise decision, and that brings the count to 2-2. Jan, a very confident pitcher. We've seen it this year. The amount of times he comes off the inning, whether it's with a little K strut.
He's got proven pull side power, even in the big parks. Don't be fooled by the fact that he plays for the Leafs. This is a dangerous hitter.
Yeah, it'll be curious to see how Jan goes. 3 straight pitches on the outside after getting ahead in the count. It is a full count here. Puig on first, not much of a lead. And you do got to watch out with that, as we've seen from Jan. First for the Cardinals there, that is vintage Hector Jan from what you've seen this year. Talked about not wanting to attack the inside part, and he doesn't do that. That's just an excellent execution on the put-away pitch from Jan.
Yeah, and he went back outside. That fastball looked like it might have even been out of the zone. That's one of those things that makes you think that Marcus Connect just might have been in swing mode with Puig.
Lee is back in the lineup at second. Jaden Brown is the DH tonight, while Angel Guerrero will man left. I'm almost upset we had to cut you off there. I feel like you had some good stuff to tell us about Alvarado.
It's all good. Got to get the lineup up there. Alvarado's a former Blue Jay prospect, so he pitched there until 2022, and then 2023 he joined the Maple, pitching for a Toronto organization for the entirety of his professional career. And the numbers this season don't jump off the page. 7.06 ERA through 29 and a third innings, 18 strikeouts to 10 walks. But he is no stranger to dealing here at Bernie Arbor. Last June, he had a game here where he struck out 11 Cardinals.
To avoid that fate, it has been a player of many uses for the Leafs this year, has Alvarado. This will be his 11th appearance, his 6th start of the season. So obviously working out of relief in addition to the job as a starter. This is the second time the Cardinals have seen him, but first time as a starter this year. Obviously we hear this all the time at all levels of baseball, how different. Generally speaking, this is the spot you look to for Tyler Duncan. What do you make of the change atop the lineup with Nickel as the leadoff man tonight?
I think the Cardinals are trying to get Tyler Duncan going. He's just 3 for his last 20, no extra base hits or RBIs in that span, and it's still been a productive season overall. There's a reason he's starting at the
ripping one into left field. That'll get the game off from the Cardinals offense in a beautiful way. If you wanted somebody on base for Duncan, here it is. You've got it. As you mentioned, Tyler Duncan, we'd all love our ho-hum seasons to involve a 333 average with a slug at 433 and an OPS at 8.6 there as he watches a first pitch ball for Duncan does. That's been the other thing about Duncan that I have to commend him with. The patient approach has not waned, despite you imagine wanting to kind of be a little bit more aggressive and being fearless and getting that A swing off. It's really felt like a year where he's really leaned on brain, and he's had to because the power just hasn't been there in the way you would expect.
Yeah, and it's such a direct result of how he's pitched, and the fact that we're talking about an 867 OPS as a down year is a testament to how high he has set the bar, like you said.
Yeah, it certainly is. You see it there, catching the outside. That is a 1-2 count now on Duncan. Nickel starting the inning off, green light to swing, but it really hasn't been necessarily the MO for Duncan this year. He's been so patient, has had no problem taking his walks. Even there have been times where he's been asked to lay down a bunt. He's done good jobs of that. And there's Nickel. We talked about the lack of a run game from the Cardinals. You see it from Nickel there, getting involved, and he will, I believe we're calling a foul tip on that, though.
Yeah.
Looks like Duncan would have ended up with the strikeout there.
Great offense really throughout most of Wednesday night's game.
Quick check on Nickel, especially after going. There's Alvarado looking at that, delivers the pitch. That is inside to Duncan, nearly clipping him. Barely moved. Now brings the count full for Tyler Duncan. They've said they've gone outside, they've gone inside, they've tried just about everywhere with Duncan in this AB. This has got to be an uncomfortable guessing game for him right now because he's seen just about everything in this at bat so far.
Yeah, you know Alvarado doesn't want to miss. But the count's full now.
Yeah, certainly not. You don't want to serve up a meatball, but you also don't want to put a couple of men on. Maybe that was the meatball. Duncan hitting one. It's wanted to get that power swing going.
Yeah, and you are welcome, Tyler, for the announcer's jinx. I mentioned no extra base hits in his past 20 at-bats, and there you go. Dennis DeBanning had a good beat on this ball, but we sometimes see this with him in left field. It's not always smooth sailing, and Tyler was rewarded for some quality contact there, taking a 3 opportunity for the Cardinals leader in RBIs right now, Darlene Herman.
Great job by our camera crew there. I'm going to give credit to the person off to my right. I believe that's who got the shot for us. It was a jump by DeBanning, and he just kind of mistimed it and missed where to put his glove. So actually no contact with the ball. That is a Texas leaguer there from Darlin Herman. It's going to score one.
Home plate, but Nickel beats it out, and the Cardinals are off and running.
Yeah, great job all around there. I mean, obviously, Darlin Herman making a little contact with a couple runners on. That's what you want. Not the contact he's used to, but you like it there. It's also a great job by the coaching staff here to get Nickel attention, have him tagging, and by Nickel breaking home. That's just excellent execution all around. And yeah, Darlin Herman, if you give up the RBI to him, you expect it to go maybe a slightly different way than the bloop single, but that's what it is. And all of a sudden, the Cardinals are cooking here. Here's another all-star in the Cardinals lineup, Evan McGill, rookie catcher. Got to feel pretty good as a rookie getting the all-star nod. And not just that, but Duncan on third. No outs in the inning thus far for the Cardinals as they look to apply a little early pressure to the Leafs. Here's Evan McGill, going to be in a little bit of a protect mode with a 1-2 count. Despite a questionable last pitch, Alvarado checks on the runners, delivers the pitch. It's outside. Steal the extra 90 feet. Smart piece of base running by Herman there. Felt like, I normally don't like to be this pointedly critical, but just a little haphazard, a little lazy by the catcher there, allowing Herman to steal the extra 90 feet. That wasn't a quick jump from him. That was just realizing that was a ball in the dirt. But it's a full count for McGill here.
Yeah, and McGill's not going to be a guy who gets too rattled by that. He's someone who's going to maintain his composure. He's got some of the best plate vision and discipline on this team.
You see him here. He's got a good RBI opportunity. This has been a guy that's hit some big bombs this year. Also been a good situational hitter. The first Cardinals run of the day on a bloop single that allowed Brandon Nickel to score. Tyler Duncan is at third. Both guys stray off their bag, getting a bit of a lead. Duncan being held a little at third. That one is laced up the middle. It's going to score at least one in Duncan. And here comes Herman getting waved around, but they'll pump the brakes.
Struck out 3 times. Lefty starter on the mound, and he's faced with another lefty today back in his home park, not necessarily as hitter-friendly of a venue. Works the count full, maybe had a call go against him there, but he stays within himself, takes the full count pitch right back to the middle. Cardinals putting together some fantastic and long at-bats against Alvarado.
The rookie catcher takes a bit of a lead off of first there. Also Herman on third. That one is slashed in at Yasiel Puig, but he'll have to get back quickly, Will McGill, and there is a bluff from Herman, rightfully so, as you mentioned. Puig maybe a little up there as far as the
that ball. It kind of looked from up here like he caught it out front, yet he drove it the other way. It kind of fooled me off the bat, but he crushed it, and unfortunately crushed it a little too hard, hung up and caught by Puig for the first out.
Yeah, it's amazing the body language of athletes. And, if you're playing any sport, it doesn't matter what it is. You're playing a little golf, playing a little, softball still. That'll drive in Herman. McGill, hard chugging. He's going to be stopped at third. And stop me if you've heard this before. The Cardinals score a run, and it is first and third for the Cardinals here in the first against the Leafs.
Boy, I am just handing out the reverse jinxes tonight. There's an RBI for Rainy Reyes, and the Cardinals right now doing well.
God's given him one back for the Darlin Herman bloop single, but it has been a tough go thus far for Alvarado. Rainy Reyes is at first, Evan McGill at third, little bit of a lead from both. Anderson Feliz in the lineup here. This has been a player that's been in and he's been out. Good to see the Cardinals having him back, because this is one of those versatile players, not just because of the switch hitter, but they can move him around the diamond a little bit. Another toy for Luis Bernardo in the toy box. Good to have him back here. Right towards first. A quick check on McGill, and ends up taking just the out at first, but McGill will come across to score. Feels like first baseman just kind of stuck in between there, unsure of whether to throw home. You want to also make sure you take the shirt out there, but it felt like the second he turned his J.J. Dutton in center, Yasiel Puig in right. It was Kirk Gibson I'm talking about making the play there. Crix Tavares at second, Brando LaRue at short. Well, Willianis Alvarado and Dionysius Chaltis as the catching battery tonight there for the Maple Leafs. Yeah, it did feel like the lead, but he's in his early 20s, folks. He could still got the legs. The position has not eaten those alive yet, clearly.
Yeah, and I wonder if the fact that the Leafs have been just having such a hard time to get outs in this inning is what prompted Gibson to maybe not be as aggressive as he could have been and take the sure out there, because McGill was frozen. He was well off the bench.
In the kind of slow roller up the line, and then also, not able to just tag the runner. And we will see them take the easy out there, and you see the dividends it pays. But not after the Cardinals score 4 runs in the first inning, and now you're looking at a case where the Cardinals are going to take a 4-0 lead into the second inning. Hector Young able to buy tickets and get involved and help out a great cause. Also, it's All-Star Weekend this weekend in the CBL. Saw the promo there. We'll take a look at what they've got in
the new Canadian Baseball League era. The 2026 All-Star Showdown is landing at Fergie Jenkins Field on the July 11th and 12th weekend. The league's top talent, all Chatham-Kent, it's our time. The All-Star Weekend of the new CBL era. It's history in the making.
There will be plenty of Cardinals represented at All-Star Weekend, not just in the skills contest. We will see 3 Cardinals in that. I already mentioned Evan McGill will be part of the accuracy throw. The guy's going to do the bunting accuracy position or contest. That is exactly the position in your lineup he should occupy. I love the expanded events there. This has been something baseball fans talk about every year whenever Major League Baseball has their All-Star game. Why don't we have more things? You're going to see it here. I think it's awesome that they have.
Welland Hamilton hosted it last year, and Chatham-Kent is trying to do them both one better.
Ball hit hard. Tyler Duncan appears to have a beat on it, and he will settle under it nicely. Quick pitch, quick out for Hector Jan and the Cardinals as they continue to cruise here at home. The Cardinals looking to get back at it. As you mentioned, we're riding quite the win streak heading into Wednesday. I mean, in any sport, once you get a win streak going, you just want to keep it going, especially if you have an end date in mind, like the All-Star break is lurking just this weekend.
Yeah, and if there's any indication that the CBL, and despite the gap between the playoff and non-playoff teams in the standings right now, it's a reminder, anybody can beat anybody. Toronto, any off days, the increased competition is a big appeal to everybody.
Yeah, certainly is a part of it. Speaking of appeal, we see an appeal from Anderson Feliz. Looked like he wanted that one, but Darling Herman settles under it nicely. Couple of pitches, couple of outs for Hector Jan. He is just cruising.
And again, I know I already said it once, but Jan was supposed to be 3 behind Boone and Adames, and the Cardinals starting pitching was really what carried them all of last season, and it's making even more statements here in 2026.
Yeah, it certainly has been, and yeah, that's a pretty potent 1-2-3 regardless of what order you stack it up in. Adames got off to just an incredible start on the season, obviously dealing with a little bit of an more potent strikeout pitcher of the 2 early on in the season, and the way Jan has racked him up, that's really saying something. I think the other thing about Jan that's been impressive has been the idea of what you've been able to see from him this year. So many different ways to get it done. When there is the strikeout stuff, you absolutely
to force it, and you see why, because
as well. It'll be curious to see what type of choices Bernardo has to make tonight, because again, with the All-Star break lurking around the corner, you obviously have no shortage of arms you can use in the pen there, playing the game on Wednesday, yes, but beyond that, there's not a lot lurking around the corner, especially or until after the All-Star break for the Cardinals. So it'll be curious to see the way Bernardo goes about it tonight. Also, the pen has been a little up and down, certainly not as dominant as the starters have been. So you're going to want to get as much out of Jan, you'd imagine, as you can look to tonight.
And there's a positive spin to put on that if you're this, and you could say that for more guys in that Cardinal bullpen. So in theory, the best is yet to come. We saw how nails they were, how lockdown they were in 2025. Now, Fernando Rodney was around that year. A little bit of a different story, but again, feels like the best is yet to come here for the relief unit here in 26.
Yeah, Hospital, I mean, specifically last Friday, he was one of the guys that struggled a little bit, putting finishing touches on the game. Eventually, it was Gadget who came in and was able to shut the door for the Cardinals, able to pick up that win at home against Welland, part of the win streak they had going on before that Wednesday game.
For him, he homered twice in his final 3 home games here in the month of June. He's got some sneaky pull side pop, but a lefty-lefty matchup here for him now.
Yeah, lefty-lefty. You gotta when it's been going the way it's gone for Alvarado, you'll take anything you got working for you, and it certainly is the lefty matchup as he gets a couple of quick strikes on Guerrero here. We'll look for the put-away pitch. Guerrero will look to fight and stay alive. You know, we've pointed this out a few times this year, Matt. It's been a testament to the Cardinals' lineup and how deep it is that, yeah, the baton that you've seen from the Cardinals lineup this year.
Yeah, and let me tell you, Brent, the Cardinals front office was very fired up about Guerrero coming into the season, and the fact that here on July the 10th, he is hitting 9th. I know the season numbers have been a little pedestrian, 765 OPS. Not bad, not great in an offense-heavy league like this, but he gets bat on ball. He's got gap-to-gap power. What's not to like?
Yeah, certainly. I mean, I even like the sartorial elements of it. I like that he just goes with the teal batting gloves here. Very clashy, with power clashing, I believe is what they call it, for Angel Guerrero there. I like it, showing the confidence that he's got. And yeah, you'd love to see him get going, but when your 9-hitter, as you mentioned, has the OPS that he does, certainly a testament to how dangerous this lineup has been. Ooh, see Alvarado trying to bend the curveball in there. I imagine Guerrero had the same thought I did. Is this thing going to curve? Eventually it did, but not enough for a strike.
Yeah, you'll see Alvarado do this to both handedness of hitters. He will throw that breaking ball to both the inside and outside corners of the plate. Something to watch for.
Lefty looking for a more successful second inning than the first. That ball is nuked by Guerrero, but it's going to end up leaking foul. But talk about a warning shot right over the heads of the relievers for the Toronto Maple Leafs, right over there in the bullpen. So you love to see that from him. If he can straighten that. Here is Guerrero looking to continue to stay alive. Tackling him back outside. Does exactly that, taking the walk. Good job of working the count full and then finding a way to stay alive with the fouled pitch and then finding the ball there, and he's now off to first to get a runner on to start things off for the
out. But hey, the at-bat's not over. Counts full. He took a close pitch on the outside and turned things over for his leadoff man. Nice job.
Yep, really nice job by him. Here is Brandon Nickel, the shortstop. He watches that curveball. As you mentioned, Alvarado clearly unafraid to throw it to either hand of batter there. You see him throwing it for a strike. That's obviously a sign of effectiveness. Double. Guerrero is into third. Will he get held up there? He will. Smart call. Little bobble. And Nickel ripping a double. And he's at third tonight that maybe haven't. So nice to see that one is called the ball. Duncan putting himself in a good position here. This top of the order has been dangerous for the Cardinals. We saw what Nickel's capable of. You know, this has been a down year for Duncan, but still one of the league's better hitters. And then Herman lurking in the 3-hole. He has been as dangerous as they come. He will be the designated hitter for the All-Star game in Chatham-Kent tomorrow, or I should say over the weekend.
Yeah, and rocking a hard place here for Alvarado because first base is open, and
with the matchup for Alvarado, he's been unafraid to throw the breaking ball to left-handed hitters, so we'll see if that rears its head in this matchup. And there exactly it is, picking up a strike. That is a confident pitch, because if Duncan gets a whiff that one's coming, that thing is deposited far away from the dish from Duncan, you'd think.
Yeah, and Duncan probably thought that 2-0 pitch was out of the zone, so nice job by Alvarado to recognize that he was probably going to be in take mode and get himself back in the count there with a 2-1 break.
So this will be interesting to see the way Rob Butler wants to handle this from the Leafs perspective as the game goes on. Obviously already down 4-0. It's a 3-2 count. 2 men on for Duncan. Watches the pitch from Alvarado. Big, healthy cut at it from Duncan, but unable to catch up to it. And it is the first strikeout of the game that we see and the first out of the inning for the Cardinals.
Yeah, and I know Duncan has been in a little bit of a mini rut lately, but with second and third, nobody out, and the lead that they have, I do not hate him taking a big as
hole in Evan McGill, another all-star, not a starter like Herman is, but he will be there as one of the 4 Cardinals that will be all-star reserves this weekend in Chatham-Kent as well. We'll see what Herman's able to do here. Game's already been a pretty big lead for the Cardinals because he could blow it wide open with a big knock here, but all of a sudden it is a pretty good pitcher's count that Alvarado finds himself in after a couple of strikes against Darlin Herman. It is an 0-2 count.
Yeah, I think Alvarado might have learned something from that last at-bat by Herman. We know how much he loves to swing.
Looking to do in that spot. You want to tack on. You didn't need the 5-run homer in that spot. Certainly would have taken the 3-run blast, but just a good job of being productive and finding a way to drive in a run.
And with a guy with the bat-to-ball skills that Herman has, it almost feels like the normal rules of the count dictating so much of what happens just doesn't apply, because when it gets to 2 strikes, he just loves to battle. He is not going to give up an at-bat very easily, and even though it was a 2-strike pitch, he drove that one for another sac fly.
Well, and you see where it was. I mean, obviously with 2 strikes, you're not going to take a pitch that's that. You have a better feeling of what the zone is on any given night. Now, we're still early on. McGill's only been back behind there for 2 innings in this game, but it does feel like if anyone's got the exact right seat to have a good handle on what the zone's going to be on any given night, it would be the 2 catchers on either side. And obviously here is the Cardinals catcher. Quick check on Nickel, who's at second. It's a 2-out situation for McGill, who'll look to drive in the run with a runner in scoring position, and he takes a ball on the outside. Always interesting what we do with take or green light situation. 5-0 lead, putting up a 4 spot in the bottom of 1, adding 1 more in this second frame here. And McGill slashing one. Will it hang on? It will not. It's going to go over to the Cardinals bullpen, where obviously the way Hector Yan has been tonight, nobody is working there. But McGill very, very close to driving in another run in this game.
Yeah, so many guys on this Cardinals offense have done a great job of using all fields this year. And McGill was in a 3-1 count. He's not necessarily in a spot where he has to protect, but again, lefty on the mound. When you're in a lefty-lefty matchup, that's kind of a great time to think kind of, middle and then to the opposite field. And McGill just couldn't keep that one quite fair.
Yeah, we've seen some big-time pull power from him this season, and there it is. Good job by Alvarado bouncing back. McGill swinging underneath one, and it is another strikeout, and that will end things here in the second inning. But it's another productive frame for the Cardinals as they now put together another run, and it is a 5-0 lead for the Cardinals. Here we are at Bernie Arbor Memorial Stadium. I got to shout it out. One of my favorite nights every year. My kid's not here tonight, but when he is, he's a speed demon on these base paths when he gets to run the bases. Also, we always got great things going on in the city of Hamilton. I'm very, very happy to welcome into the booth tonight Shabazz. He's the technical director for Chancellory FC. Are competing in this, and just in terms of your general excitement for the event.
Well, again, we have teams coming from all over Ontario. They're coming to celebrate basic freedoms that we all enjoy in Canada. We know in a historical context that, not everybody's been able to enjoy freedom. So we're celebrating that, and it's bringing a lot of teams from across Ontario. I think one from Quebec, I'm not sure, but they might have backed out. But we've had a great amount of interest from a very far range, but mostly all of Ontario.
No, that's awesome. Obviously, with everything going on in the world of soccer right now, do you feel like there's a little more hype for the event, just given everything going on in the world right now?
We do. We had an amazing Canadian national team's run. Everybody knows that we went to 16th in the world for a final round of 16, and with that, tremendous success there, we're seeing a real push for soccer in general, especially with this Emancipation Cup.
Okay, now I'm going to do something a little self-serving. I have a 5-year-old who, because of this, has become soccer obsessed. Can you give me one little drill I could do? Should he be practicing juggling? Should I just get him kicking the ball as much as he wants? What's the best way to get him loving the game?
Juggling gives him the best control.
There is Shabazz, the technical director for Chancellory Forever FC. Cable 14 will be recording the women's final and a men's final. Those will be Sunday, July 26th. They'll be aired later that week. Check out cable14.com for an online guide of when exactly you can check those out. Really appreciate Shabazz for jumping in the booth, and I'm going to take that. I'm taking that. He's going to be practicing his juggling. You better believe it. Very little practice needed from Hector Yan. That's unfair. He's a professional athlete. He puts a lot of time into his craft. He just makes it look very easy, and that's the way it's gone tonight.
That hasn't happened yet this season. Somebody reaching on a wild pitch strikeout there, but Kirk Gibson was fooled on the swing, but no matter. The Leafs have a leadoff base runner, and with the way things have gone for them tonight, they're going to try and make that go as far as possible here.
Yeah, you know what we call that? We call that Evan McGill's really good at blocking the baseball. That's what we call that. There's gonna be some spin. You're gonna have your pitches where we see it all the time. Get that ball down, get it in the dirt. You got to trust your catcher, and why wouldn't you with McGill? With how good he's been this year, this is a new thing for Hector Yan, at least tonight, dealing with a base runner. No foul, and McGill and Yan will continue to work here. It is an 0-2 count, good pitcher's count for Hector Yan. Obviously, the strikeout pitcher. I'm sure he would love to continue to rack them up. He'll take the outs any way they come. But you got to imagine for him, it feels nothing better. Feels better than a strikeout for Jan. Cardinals win, maybe, but strikeout too, definitely. There is Jan delivering, looking outside, and McGill doing a good job of keeping that one in front of him.
Yeah, right on cue, Brent. That's a beautiful block there by Evan McGill. This is Chris Tavares. He joined the...
Let's do some quick baseball math here. You have one of the best lefties in the CBL on the mound, and he's choosing to bat left-handed. Yep, I think that's the way he does it there. And you see Jan getting him with the curveball there, little off speed. I love a catching of the black with the fastest fastball you got, but there really is something extra special about just being able to work some off speed or a breaking pitch in there, especially for a taken strike 3.
Yeah, and when Jan can work up in the zone with his secondary stuff, it's a
swing a bat yet tonight. Of course, before you do that, you got to deal with Brando LaRue, the shortstop, at the dish now. So runner on first. That runner is Kirk Gibson. He got there with a dropped or pass ball third strike. And Hector Jan looking to pick up another strikeout. There have been no shortage of them tonight. I'd imagine there will be no shortages going forward. But it is 2 balls, and it's the exact opposite count that Jan found himself working in to the last batter we just saw there.
Yeah, LaRue, the 23-year-old out of Markham. Hard to believe this is his 5th season in the CBL. He's one of those
here. He continues to work. It is a 2-2 count. Good job by Jan getting this back into an even count after falling behind 2-0 to start. It's Gibson on first, taking a bit of a lead. Again, if you haven't watched many Cardinals games this year, 1, for shame. 2, Hector Jan, not one to be trifled with on the base pass. He is good for a pickoff attempt. That is a beautiful double play turned by the Cardinals there. Nickel ranging deep into the hole, fires it over to Feliz, who fires a strike to Herman at first, and the Cardinals are out of the inning. What a beautiful...
Considering his slash line, and yes, he was the last man in at the All-Star game, but man, has he really turned it up a notch at shortstop this season. He's made a ton of great plays deep into the hole. That play ranging to your right and having to turn and pivot and make that throw to any base, let alone second, to start a 6-4-3 is tough to do, but it gets Jan out of the inning. He has been playing fantastic baseball on both sides of it this year.
Yeah, it is really funny how the different positions in baseball, they require such different kind of skill sets. You see it there with shortstop, just throwing from that super unique arm angle. It's almost tucked against his pitch this evening. You want to be able to turn 2 for him. The double play is a pitcher's best friend, and you saw the Cardinals attack it in spades there.
Yeah, nicely done by Hector and nicely done by the infield. You saw it just a few seconds ago there on your screen. Shout out to everybody in the Cable 14 truck doing fantastic work for us on this broadcast as per usual. Brent, like you say, they make our lives easy. We're just the mouthpieces.
Oh, I just get to sit here and talk about baseball for anywhere between 2 and 3 hours. It's really not that hard. These guys are working technical equipment. They have decisions to make. They have choices. I am just getting here talking baseball with my friend Matt or Roger, whoever they got me here with tonight. But I'm always happy to have you alongside me there, Matt. It is Brent Gunning and Matt Creeley here at Bernie Arbor Memorial Stadium. It's a little Cable 14. Well, the Cardinals had that win streak snap there, looking to get a little revenge, and so far, so good for the Cardinals tonight. It is Alvarado on the mound for the Maple Leafs here, and he continues to work in this game. It's been a bit of a rough night for the lefty, although it seems like he settled down a little bit more in that last frame, just allowing the 1 run.
Yeah, it seems that way, and we're going to have a little bit of a delay here, Brent. It looks like we're missing a couple umpires.
Sure does. Nature calls or whatever may happen there, or what happens here. But obviously the Cardinals just want to continue things moving along here the way they have been swinging the bat so far tonight. It's been a really effective bit of offense and a little bit of everything. We've seen some hard hit balls. We've seen some good base running. We've seen a little batted ball luck with the Herman hit to start it off. Really, whatever you've looked for tonight. We've seen good defense from Nickel. We've seen good pitching from Jan. Seen good Cardinals hitting. Whatever it is you come to a baseball game for, so far you've seen it tonight here at Bernie Arbor.
Yeah, and that get them 2 down, and you better believe that they were going to come out here super motivated to right their wrongs and get a few runs up on the board against Wellhenis Alvarado, who shoved here last year at Bernie Arbor Stadium, and so far through 2.5, it has been smooth sailing and exactly the way they would have drawn it up.
Yeah, and you see Anderson Feliz there having a conversation with a member of the coaching staff. That's the other thing about baseball, and I've had the opportunity to talk to a lot of different players at a lot of different levels about this. When your team is hitting well, the hitting conversation
takes shape, and it's out in full force here again. And I've been thinking this for a few weeks now. I'm not sure if I've said it on air, but it is really, if you are a fan of baseball, uncanny the resemblances between the Cardinals offense here and the offense that the 2025 Blue Jays rolled out. We all know and love them, but very similar kind of plans of attack, early in count aggression, bat to ball with enough damage to get by, and just kind of just ruining the opposing pitcher's plans before he can even hit the bat. That could have been an extra base hit. But then you got your bloop singles and your timely run scoring hits to go along with that. Evan McGill taking a full count pitch back up the middle to score a run. It kind of feels like they aren't, there's no one type of hitter on this offense. It's a very diverse lineup. The construction includes a lot of different archetypes of hitters, guys who can get it done in a multitude of different ways, and that makes it hard to game plan if you're an opposing pitcher.
No, I think there's no bigger example for that of the way that Luis Bernardo trusts everybody in this offense is you've seen Tyler Duncan lay down a sac bunt attempt for this team before. You know, there's not many league MVPs that are being asked to do things along those lines, and it just kind of proves exactly the way Luis Bernardo looks to handle this team. There is no Tyler Duncan, he's looking to rack up another home run derby crown. He is the 1 seed in the home run derby. Evan McGill will take part in the catcher throwing accuracy contest, while Brandon Nickel will show off his bunting prowess in the bunting accuracy contest. We got 3 Cardinals starting in the game for the North Division. Rainy Reyes at third, Tyler Duncan in center, while Darlin Herman will act as the DH for the North Division. There will also be 4 Cardinals there as reserves. Evan McGill, Brandon Nickel, along with pitchers tonight. Starter Hector Yan, along with last year's MVP Owen Boone. Frazee Sadames was named as the best all-star pitcher you send to the game. Just kind of proof positive how good this Cardinals team has been this year. It's been an offense, yes, but also the pitching staff has really been something they can count on.
Yeah, and if you look at kind of the progression of the Cardinals over the past year plus, I think they turned a lot of heads coming into the 2025 season with the Rodney signing. There was just so much hype, and that can kind of let things get away from you a little bit, and the Cardinals got off to a very inconsistent start last season, and it took a winning streak in July to season 1. Just so crazy the amount of twists and turns that everything took, but they're in a good spot right now, and that's all you can ask for.
Quite a delay here while we wait to get back to the game. You got to imagine this is more impactful on the pitchers than it is the hitters. And, you know, no knock on Alvarado, who's out there on the mound, the one actually waiting here. But you have got a gem from Hector Yan here. At a certain point in time, you do have to wonder about how a guy feels sitting for this long. Now, if you're sitting because your team's raking, I don't know, maybe the emotions and the endorphins can kind of carry you through here. But it has not been a case where you've been able to see that from Jan. You got to wonder at what point in time the back to game action here. But yeah, you imagine this got to have a way bigger impact on the pitchers than any hitters you would think.
Yeah, for sure, Brent. And I've just got word from Sean, our PA guy, who has heard that one of the umpires, we're not sure which one, but one of them got hit in the head by whether it was an errant bat or a ball or something like that. There's probably some mandatory concussion spotting going on right now, and we see the volunteer paramedics kind of vacating the scene down the first base dugout. So hope everything is okay there. You can't be too careful with head injuries and anything like that. So just hoping the best prevails here for the umpiring crew here tonight.
Yeah, Cardinals would know that base. The umpires calling the bases tonight. I thought I saw the home plate umpire kind of standing around trying to get an understanding of what things were happening here. But yeah, absolutely, you want to be very careful with this. You want to take concussion protocol very seriously. Maybe not the sport you would think of, and obviously don't want to presume that is what's being dealt with here. But anytime if there is any type of being hit by a ball, being hit by a bat, it's no fun. But it's no fun when you're expecting it, let alone if you're not. And as an umpire, that's certainly. You know, this game has really been trending in a completely positive direction for the Cardinals here. We do see a couple of umpires emerging here. Looks like they're going to have a conversation with Luis Bernardo. I do just see 2 of the umpires, so we'll see what happens for the rest of the night. But looks like they're grabbing some baseballs, and we're going to get ready to go. So obviously, the one umpire not rejoining the crew, at least that's what it looks like. Wish him the best, but wish the 2 that are going to continue officiating and umpiring this game the best as well. Scary incident here, and hopefully everyone is not too much worse for wear.
But right now it looks like, at least for the time being, we're going to be down to just 1 base umpire. So everybody in this field is going to have to be forgiving. He's not always going to be able to put himself in the best spot to make a call with the lack of manpower they have now. They're down a guy. So yeah, in the nicest way possible, good luck, because it's not an easy job again to continue. You have to ump all 3 bases with no partner out there. So looks like they're just going to have to tough it out.
Yeah, certainly an element. I don't know how nice they'll be about it, but I imagine he has a lot of friends that will be helping him make some calls on the bases. We certainly have seen the Cardinals faithful not be too shy around the diamond with just the one umpire out there in the field. Again, we hope everybody is okay, but we're ready to get back underway here at Bernie Arbor Memorial Stadium. It is a 5-0 lead for the Cardinals. They put up a 4-spot in the first inning, 1 run in the second, and they're looking to start things off here in the third, continuing scoring at least 1 run in each inning of the game. They have gotten a great outing from Hector Jan. He has spun a gem so far in this one, but the Cardinals hope we don't see him for a while, because that means it's been a pretty effective inning with a bloop single somewhat similar to the one we saw from Darlin Herman in the first, and he gets the party started for the Cardinals here.
Yeah, and Dominguez, he's got that power-speed combination. We saw him launch one out of here on a line the other way, but this time he gets either a fastball or a changeup, can't really tell, but something on the outer half, probably even out of the zone there from Wilhelmus Alvarado, and just dumps it in front of J.J. Dutton, who couldn't get there close enough in time to make a diving effort at it, and it's another leadoff runner for Hamilton.
Yeah, big salute to the dugout for Dominguez, and why wouldn't you when in the game after one had to leave because of an injury there. So hope everyone is doing okay. It'll be interesting to see the way this is handled with just the 2 umpires on the diamond now. Reyes has worked himself into a tough situation here. It is an 0-2 count. Alvarado has struggled here, especially with these 0-2 counts. Feels like the few times he has got ahead, feels like the Cardinals have been able to work it back to something approaching full, if not a full count itself. Dominguez is off and running. That throw is to the left side of the bag, and that'll allow him to slide in there safe. Throw got down there in time, but it just shows, and that's why they have a accuracy throwing contest for the certainly not. Pop time was good, but yeah, throw location maybe not. See a tough play to short, and all of a sudden Reyes will beat it out. Ball was dropped anyways, and all of a sudden the Cardinals have got something cooking. Dominguez able to take the 90 feet, despite that ball being hit right in the path of where he was running there. Cardinals have got something cooking. We talked about it. Who is the layoff going to be harder on, the pitcher or the batter? Almost certainly the pitcher. Now this is kind of how it's gone for Alvarado tonight, but you see the Cardinals once again have something cooking. It's been a common theme tonight. No outs and runners on the corners for the Cardinals. We've seen a couple of tricky hit balls to the Leafs tonight. There was the one that comes to mind, the slow roller to first at Kirk Gibson, where Evan McGill ended up scoring there after getting turned around or turning around, and McGill was able to scurry home there while Gibson took the sure out at first. But yeah, a couple of awkward balls hitting the infield tonight for the Cardinals, but you'll take them any way they come. Dominguez is on third, Reyes is on first, and it's Anderson Feliz, switch hitter, up at the dish here.
Yeah, and Feliz, as we mentioned, has been battling that kind of groin issue, and he came back for a couple of games against London last week, but
Anderson Feliz at the dish, and he slashes one into right field. That's going to bring home a run to score. Reyes will stay at second, and Anderson Feliz is at first, and the Cardinals continue to cook here, adding another run. It is four in the first, 1 in the second, and now 1 in the third. That runs it to 6 runs for the Cardinals tonight. They are really racking it up. Does look like we're going to get our pitching change here. We'll wait to make it official, but I could have swore I saw a point, and it has not gone the way Alvarado has wanted tonight for the Leafs starter. Good piece of hitting by Feliz to just rip that one through the hole on the right side.
And again, I sound like a broken record, but 2 strikes, taking it the other way in an RBI spot. Anderson Feliz is a professional hitter. Been there, done that. Fun fact, him and Aaron Judge hit right next to one another in the order in the Yankees. To the veteran right-hander Yadian Martinez here out of Cuba here for the Maple Leafs in his first season with Toronto, and in his last start here at Bernie Arbor Stadium, things did not go well. It wasn't that long ago, folks. That was the 23-1 game. He gave up 9 runs, only 7 of them earned in 4 1/3 innings, 9 hits. He struck out 2 and walked 1. Martinez is a 30-year-old veteran in this league now. This is his 4th season in the CBL, first with the Maple Leafs. He spent 2023 to 25 with the Kitchener Panthers. Coming into action here today, he's got an 8.42 ERA in 31 innings, 21 strikeouts to 9 walks. He was Toronto's opening day starter, and he had a nice, good start for the Cardinals. You mentioned that if they don't see him for a while, it's a good sign. Well, it has been a long inning so far, and Martinez is going to try and put out the fire here for the Maple Leafs.
Yeah, it will be Martinez coming in, and yeah, not surprised to see Jan playing a little catch, although that's got to be a good sign. Generally speaking, if your night's done, you don't go play catch afterwards. Quick time to check in on the out-of-town scoreboard as a lot of teams get ready to wrap up the first half of their CBL season. London home tonight. They're up 4-1 on Guelph. That's in the top of 6. Barrie putting the boots to Brantford. It is 10-2. That's in the top of 5. Well, the Panthers are in Chatham. And you throw in the long layoff there. Felt like it was a recipe for a quick pitching change. And anytime you have to make a pitching change this earlier in the game, you wonder about the knock-on effects of that. You know, you should always have multiple plans when you head into a game here. But you have to imagine that this is going to be, that this was not necessarily the way they drew it up, going to their second pitcher of the night in the third inning with no outs and the bases loaded.
No, and if there's a silver lining for the Leafs, it's that they have this flexibility. I mean, we saw Alvarado pitch in relief a lot at the start of the season, and now he's going to be piggybacking for, or Martinez, sorry, he's on his first pitch. Ball in play, got a pitch he thought he could drive, didn't put a bad swing on it, might have been out at Christie Pitts. The Cardinals would have loved one of those Christie home runs yesterday. Didn't get it, but they've been making up for it here so far tonight.
Yeah, they certainly have been. Angel Guerrero started a rally last time we saw him in this inning, or in this game. Here it is on first. He has runners on first and third. Reyes on third. Feliz at first. And Guerrero up, the left fielder in the game tonight, wearing number 89. Cardinals wearing their all-white outfit here. Got the red batting helmets on. A lot of red cleats or blues. The Birds. Ooh, those are sweet. Absolutely love those as well. Here's the thing: no bad Cardinals jerseys.
I was gonna say
what I've come to learn in my time watching this team and working for them this year.
Yeah, it's almost like with the way how positively we talk about the jerseys all the time, that there are no bad options, and that is truly the case. And I know I've given a shine to the home whites here before. It is just so clean. The red on white, and might I add a nice color contrast here with the deep Maple Leafs blue.
Yeah, I do like that. I love a little, color on color jersey matchup as well. Not shy about that. We did update you on Hector Jan earlier, and I highly doubt he'd be going out there to throw if you weren't going to see him in the top of 4, which the Cardinals hope doesn't happen for a little while here. It's Angel Guerrero at the dish. Anderson Feliz on first. Rainy Reyes on third. It's the second pitcher of the night. Martinez is into the game for the Maple Leafs after Alvarado was chased by this Cardinals lineup that's been dangerous. And speaking of chase, Guerrero chasing one there, and he is struck out, and that'll be the second out of the inning for the Cardinals.
Yeah, and Martinez is not
Cardinals lineup tonight, and starting it off tonight is the shortstop Brandon Nickel. Saw him make a wonderful defensive play that allowed the Cardinals to get out of the last inning there. He could do it on both sides. He is your kind of prototypical shortstop there, a little bit of a scrappier offensive player with a sneaky bit of pop, as we saw with the double already in this game. Nichols had a pretty eventful night.
Yeah, and Martinez, for a guy who got roughed up pretty bad last time, the look on his face when he was pulled in that 23-1 game just really said it all. He's doing a good job here throwing.
All of a sudden, they're up 7-0 here at Burning Arbor Memorial Stadium. It is Friday Night Baseball here on Cable 14. Cardinals up 7-0 on the Leafs, looking for a little revenge after the Leafs snapped the Cardinals' win streak earlier this week. This is the final game of the unofficial first half of the season before everybody's off to Chatham, Kent for an all-star game. Tyler Duncan hitting one a mile high in the sky. Kirk Gibson ranging over to make the play, and he does make it. That's the third out of the inning, and that will end things here. We are through 3 innings.
Financial instability and insecurity was, the whole year was very stressful. And then I heard that the United Way was sponsoring a course in mindfulness, and that certainly happened. My life is moving forward. I'm enjoying life again, and I'm thankful that I was able to take that program. Thank you.
On this episode of Mavericks, we meet a Hamilton physician whose work centers on the most anguishing edge of medicine. a world most of us can barely imagine, where childhood, heartbreak, and courage meet.
This guy in the CBL, this is Yasiel Puig, of course, longtime Major League Baseball player, multiple-time All-Star in that league as well. He will not be in Chatham-Kent for the festivities this weekend, but was named an All-Star. If you're second in the league in homers, I think that's a pretty good way to get named, and that's exactly what Puig has done this year. Also, fans on their seat here. It is the beer batter tonight, so if they strike him out, it will be a beer happy hour. So you're always locked in for a Puig at bat, but they got a little extra money. Some people head for the exits, not tonight, not the way this Cardinals season has gone. Hector Yan looking in. It is a 1-2 count on Puig. Looking to clip the top of the zone. That's a good take by Puig there. That one was pretty close and not a hitter's count.
Yeah, Puig's got 16 walks to 11 strikeouts, so he was a power hitter in the majors with his fair share of swing and miss, but he's been getting bat on ball in this league so far. We'll see if Hector can change that.
Hector Yan resetting here, adjusting the cap. Looking in, peering over the glove. Good little matchup with Puig. Rearing back, delivering. It's a swing and a miss. He gets him out. And that is a strikeout of Yasiel Puig. Got to feel good anytime at any level, and got to feel great for the Cardinals tonight. There is earlier in the year before he hit his injury snag, but Hector Yan has been so dominant this year, and so many of the outings have looked exactly like this.
Boy, you think Yan is confident right now. He gave Puig a belt-high fastball with 2 strikes as if to challenge him, just like, hey, man, here it is, hit it. And Puig could not catch up. Yan has dominated Puig so far in the early going. I believe he has got him 3 times now this season.
It's a great spot to be in there, and you see Yan just cruising. Really nice to see as well, because as long as the wait was for the Leafs to get back on the mound, and we saw that, and it ended up having to bring Martinez into the game. He had working on in the dugout. Might want to bring it back, because it's certainly looking effective right now. It is a 1-2 count for Yan. Looks to spin one in. That one is fouled back hard, right between the batter in the on-deck circle and the guy in the hole there. So Maple Leafs, they might need the announcement from our PA announcer. Batted balls may come at alarming speeds, and you might want to be on your toes. That's not the exact verbiage, but that's the meaner version of it. Here's Hector Yan delivering one. That one is fouled back. He's slowly straightening it out. He might have to go 360 to get it back in play. That one was fouled to the left side. Now it's fouled right back, and Yan will once again find himself with a 1-2 count. Good job of staying alive here by the Maple Leafs.
Yeah, and Yan threw Dutton a splitter 1-1 that he flailed and was no.
Better stay awake if you're on the top step there. That one was no more than a foot or two over the head of the people in the last row of the right field bleachers there. A lot of hard contact here. None of it fair in this at-bat.
Shook him off to throw the fastball. Yan just wants to let it eat, it seems.
He really does, and why wouldn't you be when he spun it the way he has? And there it is. McGill applying the tag. Another strikeout for Hector Yan. It has just been strikeout after strikeout after strikeout for Yan, and that's exactly what he does. You want hitters that can, you want pitchers, hitters too, that can do.
It's kind of crazy to say Yan went back to something soft there, because even his secondary pitches, he can get the velocity up there, and Dutton put up a good fight, but no answer for it.
That ball is chopped to Nickel. He'll take his time, delivers the throw over to Herman. Hector Yan had all the faith in his world, in his infield. He was jogging off the diamond before Nickel had even uncorked that one from his glove. Really nice defense by the Cardinals. Really nice pitching from Yan, and everything has been coming up Cardinals tonight. We are through 3.5 here at Bernie Arbor Memorial Stadium to go to a bullpen arm way earlier than you should have had to, given how effective he is. So really good job from Yan to compose himself and be able to just continue to perform the way he had through the first 3 innings of the game in that 4th.
Yeah, and Yan is giving his rotation mate a run for his money with his dominant 7 innings of 1-run ball last Saturday. Owen Boone, the reigning MVP, took the league lead in ERA among qualified starters at 208. Yan's is down to 208 after that 4th inning he has been dealing tonight, and we'll see how far he can go. Maybe he could even push it under 2 tonight.
Yeah, you'd love outing for him in Barrie. Owen Boone, I feel like it's kind of the pitching version of the Tyler Duncan season. Far from disappointing, far from something that you don't like to see, but also kind of not at the normal station that either guy is used to. It really does feel like they're almost mirror images of each other from a pitching and hitting perspective.
Yeah, and Boone's velocity was a little bit down through the first month or so of the season, but it really feels like he's unlocked something because that fastball the past 2 starts has been super lively. 8 shutout innings 2 starts ago against London, his former team, and then 7 innings of 1-run ball against Barrie. Those are 2 of the top 3 teams in the league. That'll play, and it is a big reason why the Cardinals were able to win 6 in a row over the
Herman, Duncan, and then McGill is really kind of, well, I was about to say weaseled, but it's just he's performed his way into the top 4. See Duncan with a little tap backer to the pitcher, and Martinez fires a strike over to Gibson at first, and that is a quick out for Martinez here in the bottom of 4. Duncan, All-Star break, probably can't get here soon enough for him. You know, team's having success, so he's happy about it. And again, his down years sound like great years for most people, but he's got to be itching for that All-Star break. Maybe the home run derby can get him right.
Yeah, and Tyler talking to Darren Schramm about something there on his way back to the dugout, and it was nice to see him kind of get off the extra base hit.
Darlin Herman, and unfortunately we're going to get another look at it here. Now, he does appear to duck out of the way, so you hope he did not bear the full brunt of it, but that is scary, scary stuff. Anytime you get hit, you don't like it. We kind of made some light of it when Yasiel Puig got hit in the back, saying, oh, that's a good spot. That's the worst one you can have if you're Herman. And he played with fire last week and getting hit on the hand in that game against Welland. He has been a magnet lately, and you really worry for the Cardinal slugger here.
Yeah, and what happened there was Herman's helmet, as you saw in the first replay, kind of swung off on impact as he was trying to duck out of the way of that pitch. So that might have actually hurt him because just hoping for the best for Herman. You mentioned he got hit in the hand last Friday against Welland. X-rays thankfully came back negative, so he's already been playing through a bit of a bone bruise, and it's hard to imagine that he's been this productive with a still hand that's still barking at him, and now this on top of it. This is just terrible to see.
Yeah, it really is. You know, obviously paramedics checking on him as well as the Cardinals staff as well, and you know, you see manager Luis Bernardo right in there. You see Anderson Feliz, I believe, is in there as well. And this is a scary thing, and you hope for the best. Herman, from our view up here, I can tell you, still laying flat on his back. He's got one leg kind of propped up, and the other one flat on the ground there. He has been moving, so obviously that's as good a sign as you can have. But yeah, this is really scary. You know, we've seen obviously the speed at which baseballs can hit players, people, fans. Never anything to be trifled with. And you know, the exit velo, that can be pretty strong, but right out of a pitcher's hand. I mean, Martinez, as you mentioned, not necessarily a high velo guy, but it doesn't matter. Still throwing plenty hard enough to do some damage. And we do get a look at Martinez where it's not a physical contest in that way. You want to pitch inside and you want to own the inside of the plate, but you never want to see this happen. And you can see the way it's kind of shaking up Martinez a little bit here. Really uncomfortable position for him, and you can see him kind of getting some taps from his teammates. Anderson Feliz now helping Darlin Herman up. Really seems to be a little foggy and groggy, and why wouldn't he be? But the Cardinals faithful giving him a really nice hand here. Well deserved from him. And again, this well deserved for any player, but Herman has been so important for this Cardinals team here. You can see him kind of going through his paces, seems to be getting asked some questions, and they're going to try to get him off the field here, but walking very gingerly.
Volunteer paramedics, we cannot thank them enough. Again, it's been a busy day for them so far, and with Herman, you definitely don't want to be too careful. The fact that he wasn't completely motionless and the fact that he was moving is a good sign, and you hope that if this is a concussion, that it's a milder one for Herman. Not the first time we've seen this here at Bernie Arbor. You just got to be so careful.
Yeah, you never want to play doctor on TV, but I can tell you from our vantage point here, and I've now lost him as he makes his way back to the locker room there, but that looked like an extremely groggy individual in Darlin Herman, and, you know, obviously you do not blame him feeling that way at all, but man, that is scary stuff. Something, unfortunately, Tanner Rempel knows all too well. Looks like he's going to come in the game to run for him, and I'd imagine play first as well, the way he's played it this year. Been pretty impressive there. Going to try to get back and get underway here. You know, this had been a fun atmosphere, really rocking. There was the delay earlier from the umpire, but that was something that, you know, I didn't think many people, if any people in the ballpark saw. Still not entirely sure what happened there. Obviously very, very different when you see a player get hit the way he did. We are back underway here, and should we get any updates, we will pass them along to you. Tanner Rempel is into the game. He's going to run for Darlin Herman, who, if you just joined us, he just took a pitch to the head in his last at bat. Had to be helped off. There's there. So it is Rempel coming into the game. You'd imagine he'll stay in to place him first. He's at first right now. Evan McGill is at the dish, the catcher, rookie, making his all-star appearance. He's got that lurking just around the corner as All-Star Weekend will be upon us in Chatham-Kent once this game is done. Plus the leg guard aside, and he draws a walk, and the Cardinals got a couple base runners on here. One out in the bottom of 4. Cardinals with a 7-0 lead. This has been the lone inning in the game of which they've managed to tack on a run, but plenty of chances here as they have a couple of runners on. It is Rempel at first, and it is McGill at check on second. You do see the second baseman making his way back in. That one is fouled straight back from it. You got McGill at first, Rempel at second. Dominguez fouls one back. That's going to go out of play and over the bleachers there. No fans. The way this game has gone tonight, I just feel like I should let everybody know, no, that one didn't hit somebody hard, because it's been a night of close calls and unfortunately big hits tonight, both in terms of what you see with the bats, but also from the players tonight. Dominguez digging in, high Red Sox on him, looking to make some loud contact. Did last time, but it was hit right at Yasiel Puig. McGill and Rempel both with leads off, and that one is hit to third, but they will look and end up going to be a foul ball. Runners will head back to where they were. I was a little surprised we didn't see him stepping on third base to have the quick out there, but now we see why. Warming in the Toronto bullpen. We will update you on that as we continue along here. It would be the third pitcher we've seen, and Martinez unable to control that one. That's going to allow the runners to advance, just like they tried to last time, and now it is runners on second and third for the Cardinals. Dominguez up and just one out in the game here. We got Gallo warming in the pen for the Blue Jays. They're tossing a little bit. Doesn't appear to be with too aggressive of intent. No one down in a catcher's position. So I imagine they'd love to get out of this inning and then reassess the Leafs would their plans. Dominguez probably has some other ideas on this, and he watches one. Man, I talk about the blocking prowess of Evan McGill. And so far in this one, Dionysius Chielitis, who was a late add to the
pitching after that, obviously didn't look too intentional the way Martinez reacted, the hit by pitch to Herman. So it might be best to, even if he's got a little bit left in the tank, Toronto was definitely hoping he'd eat some innings here. He can be a starter, but after something like that, you just got to be mindful that a guy doesn't pitch too worried, and you just kind of got to reset his mental here. That's what they would accomplish by taking him out.
Yeah, that's certainly what they would, and it is all of a sudden bases loaded here, one out. Now, if you're Martinez, you're telling yourself, I'm a ground ball away from getting out of this, and if you're the Cardinals, you're thinking, apply the pressure. Here's one of the all-star starters they have in the lineup tonight, one of 3, and it's Rainy Reyes at the dish. He will start at third. Of course, Darlin Herman, who we saw exit the game, he'll also be an all-star starter. All gets away from you like that, it's going to affect you, but it's one thing when it just ends up a wild pitch, but when you do damage to another person, the way it appeared he did to Darlin Herman in this one, really does feel like the wheels are spinning pretty fast for Martinez right now.
Yeah, and it's 3-0 now to Rainy Reyes, and gosh, just what an awful situation. You feel for everybody involved right now, and I think that looks like Rob Butler telling Frankie Golko to be ready at a moment's notice right now. Based on that hand gesture, it looks like Reyes might be his last batter.
Yeah, and we do see the pitcher, or the person Golko was playing catch with now, is now down in a squatted catcher's position. So Tanner Rempel's happy to score a run there. Probably unhappy to find himself in the game, at least with the circumstances that led to it. But he comes across, gets a big dap up from Tyler Duncan, and the Cardinals continue to move along. And I think you nailed it there, Matt. Does seem like that's going to be the last batter we saw to Martinez, or maybe buying a little more time, as Golko did just kind of start throwing with a little more urgency. I don't know that I saw the direct point, but as you mentioned, you might have seen it in the batter before. Butler going out there to have a conversation with Mark. We, of course, have seen a couple of lefties in the starter, followed up by Martinez. So now the Leafs go to a righty in Frankie Golko.
Yeah, Golko, the right-hander, in his first season in the CBL, the native of Long Island, New York, and the alumnus of Salem University in West Virginia so far this season. 9 appearances, 2 starts, 17 and a third innings. He's got a 6.75 ERA, 9 strikeouts to 13 walks, and 29 hits allowed. So the control can be a bit of an issue, and it's hard to kind of be in that.
Because I feel like he was looking at the exact same numbers you were just looking at as Feliz gets ready for his at-bat here. Of course, the switch hitter, he's going to flip over to the other side. You have to imagine after seeing a couple of lefties tonight. You know, this is part of the game of baseball, right? Adapting and adjusting. This is probably not the plan that the Leafs drew up tonight in terms of how it went. Obviously, when you just beat the Cardinals in the last time out, they would have hoped this could continue. Cardinals very happy that it is not. They've also continued their streak of scoring in every inning thus far in the game. Job of being patient from a pitcher who is clearly reeling after hitting Herman the way he did.
Yeah, and if you're the Cardinals, there's no sense in really taking your foot off the gas. I know it's an 8-0 score, but again, things can change in this league on a dime, and they are definitely disappointed with losing Wednesday in Toronto to snap that streak, so they're going to try and go into the All-Star break on as high of a note as they possibly can.
Yeah, this is a Cardinals team that's given up a 9 spot in 1 inning, so I don't think they're going to be taking their foot off the gas at 8-0 here. Certainly want to add to it, but you want to do that in a smart way here, so it'll be interesting to see if Feliz takes that approach. He is hacking it the first thing he sees, and that one is hit to shallow left, but it's going to drop. Nevin McGill smartly going halfway. He's going to score. Everybody else goes station to station, and when it rains, and not the way the Leafs wanted it to play out, but the Cardinals will tack another one on.
Yeah, and a bloop single by Feliz. When it rains, it pours, and nothing the Leafs could really do about that one. Just kind of a teardrop. Falls in left field. It's been that kind of game. It's been that kind of day for Toronto.
Yeah, certainly has, and they will continue to pass the baton as they have done all night long. It's now Jaden Brown who's the DH tonight. Brown is another one, a very toolsy Cardinals player here.
Players are creatures of habit, and the process matters more than the results sometimes.
Yeah,
but hey, it's still a ball.
Yeah, it certainly is. That's right. You don't need to be too frustrated. You're still in a great hitter's count at 2-0, watching that one high. And, you can understand how Martinez found himself in the trouble spot he did there. Again, you want to bounce back. You want to find a way, but you can understand how it gets away from you. For Galko to come in, he pounds the zone on the first pitch. Feliz skies it high and then follows it up with 3 straight balls. You speak of process v results. He's probably not loving the process here. Brown watching that one, taking all the way at the top of the zone.
Just a tough spot all around.
Certainly is. Only the one out here. Again, you're one pitch from getting out of it, but you're also one pitch from a lot more damage lurking. And Brown knew that as well. He hits that one high. Will it be deep enough to score a run?
Dutton
think
can't
it
find
will
it.
be. Can't find it. Completely lost it. You were all over that, Matt. 1 run's going to score. 2 runs is going to score. We're going to see Feliz sliding into third. He's safe, and as is Brown, safe at second. You were all over that. That was a can of corn. That was an easy fly ball. Got to be among them there. And you mentioned when it rains, it pours. Well, cue the monsoon because it keeps on coming from a Cardinals perspective here. It is now 11-0 at Bernie Arbor.
You know how I knew Dutton lost that ball? Because I lost it. It went as soon as it went right up in the air. We got kind of a pinkish, grayish, bluish hue. All the colors coming together makes it very hard to see a baseball at this time of night. And once I lost it, I was going to try and read Dutton's reaction to see where the ball was, and he was instantly throwing up his hands like, I don't know where it is. And wow, yeah, I said it was that kind of night before. Goodness. Tough one for Toronto here.
That is the good little broadcaster tip for any of you kids who want to get into sports media. I would, one, tell you, run, go get a real job. That's the first piece of business. This is always what should I do? You should go get you should go to school and study something that has a very secure future. But if your job of picking it up, because Dutton certainly didn't. And as you said, Matt, you didn't either. You just picked up Dutton, not picking it up. Cardinals up 11-0. It's the second 4 spot they put up in this game after they did so in the first inning as well. Here is Angel Guerrero in the game now. You see, up to the bat. He was starting left fielder in this game and the 9-hole hitter as they look forward or would love nothing more than to hand this over to a very, very dangerous top of the Cardinals lineup. Brandon Nickel lurking on deck. It is Frankie Galko into the game. He's the 3rd Leafs pitcher.
Little pop-up on the infield, so now you take the sac fly and everything else out of the equation there. The Cardinals are going to have to get a hit if they want to continue this inning. This game has kind of taken just such a strange turn. There's been kind of an uneasy feeling kind of about everything ever since that Herman hit by pitch.
Yeah, even before then, with the umpire being forced to leave the game, it has just been a spooky and scary night. It's camp-out night, and somebody's telling ghost stories is the way it feels. The ghost story, if you're the Leafs, has been the Cardinals batters. It's like, oh my God, there's another man with a bat. It feels like there's no box he doesn't check, even if he doesn't necessarily check it in an emphatic way. That one is hit high, and Gibson, again, trouble reading it, but good job sticking with it, makes the catch, and now we'll end the inning. It is 4 runs more for the Cardinals in this frame. Second 4 spot they've put up in the game, and it is now 11-0. As always, here at Bernie Arbor Memorial Stadium, we want to say thank you to our friends at Rawlings.
You can get him started.
Absolutely, Sean. We have Elio and Adrian. Make some noise. They've been ready to go.
Here we are back at Bernie Arbor Memorial Stadium. Hector Jan still in the game, still on the mound. Not surprised based on his performance, but surprised based on the length of layoffs we have seen. We've had 2 relatively lengthy layoffs while the Cardinals were waiting to get back on the defensive side of the ball in this game. And Hector Jan has just spun gem after gem for the Cards. He was great last Friday.
Abnormal kind of routine for him tonight with the long layoffs between the offense and the various injuries that we have had. Jan has not really had much time to settle into a rhythm, so he's just going to try and just be himself here really as the game progresses.
Number 19, Dennis DeBanning.
Dennis DeBanning leading things off for the Maple Leafs here. This is a guy, obviously, no stranger to doing some damage in this league. You've seen him do it. He had a chance to make a big play with his glove earlier on in this one, but misreading the ball. That Tyler Duncan ended up hitting for a double in this one. DeBanning looking to get something going for the Leafs offensively, because there is for Jan, and you see him having a conversation with his catcher here. And this is one of the things I've talked to McGill about. You know, as a rookie in this league who has been completely handed the catching duties for this team, this is such a big part of it, right? You want to be able to have the trust in you want your pitchers to have the trust in you, and it feels like McGill has really done a good job of building that with his starters. I mean, the entire staff, but particularly the starters this season. See Jan delivering there. Once again, trusting the off-speed stuff for a strike, even in the lefty-righty matchup. It's a great piece of pitching by Jan there.
Yeah, and it says a lot that the fact that the Cardinals have maintained their dominance on the starting pitching front with the transition at catcher. Last season they had a kind of a revolving door at catcher, finished off with former Blue Jays prospect Yammer Hernandez, and they went back to a Canadian behind the plate this season. And despite having 2 Dominican starters, you wonder about the communication aspect of it, and it has not been a problem whatsoever as the Cardinal starters handily leading the league in ERA, and that time the strikeout actually doesn't get away from anybody.
Trying to get the top of the zone, unable to do so, and a nice piece of hitting with the check swing there. That was right on the edge, but Jan unable to get the call. The other thing about him, and I commend all of these pitchers, Jan is compared to what we've seen out of Boone this year, slightly more glacial pace, but he works quick. And the only reason it's glacial is because nobody's as fast as Boone with how he gets the ball and just wants to rear back and fire. But you see Jan, he likes to work quickly. It feels like the only time there's any delay is if there's a shake towards McGill in terms of what he wants there. But otherwise, he's working pretty spot of trouble in this inning here, and it's not really trouble until the at-bat's over.
Now, Spencer Ross, one of the better plate skills in the league here, and he thought he had ball 4 that time. Yeah, when Jan wants to take charge, he's going to let you know about it, and why would you not want to work quickly here? He's been working through so many delays here tonight. Probably just wants to get back into the swing of things.
Yeah, you would think so. Want to pound the zone as well, right? When you're up in the game this way, the strikeout pitcher, you're not afraid to leave the zone once in a while, get a little swing and miss. But that also works too, throwing strikes that they can't touch in the zone, and that has been a lot of that from Hector Jan tonight. I think that's the other thing about a strikeout pitcher. Simple over at first, far from a downgrade. Obviously, you would love Darlin Herman to still be in this game, but it's not as though you took much of a downgrade, if any downgrade, defensively with Rempel in the game. So I think you'll see that as well. You'll want to see Jan really pound the zone. He wants to do that when it's a tight game. He's definitely going to want to do that in an 11-0 Cardinals lead, which is where we find ourselves here in the top of 5. It's 2 outs. Jan working behind in the count again after throwing ball 1 here. The lefty, he's got the lefty-lefty matchup this time. He'll look to use it, attacking inside but unable to find the zone, and he falls behind 2-0.
Yeah, looks like the lefty Chialtis in there right now, and What a year of transition for the Maple Leafs at the catcher spot. It was Justin Mara for so many years, the former Cubs prospect, the Toronto native. And it's kind of weird when things aren't like that. Matt Brandt was the heir apparent, and again, a late scratch here tonight. Gialtis drawing in.
I will give Gialtis credit. You know, it was not an easy inning for him defensively last time out, having to get involved, blocking the ball a lot there. And there's Hector Jan, obviously. And how much that probably shook up his teammates there. But Hector Jan buzzing the tower a little bit. That one was high and inside, getting away from him. And it's a 3-1 count on Gialtis here, the catcher, who, as we mentioned, was a late add to the Leafs lineup today. Fouling one back, and all of a sudden it is a full count here. Hector Jan, it's one thing he's done tonight. The few times the Leafs catcher tonight, good piece of hitting to stay alive there. That was not a pitch we're going to do any damage with, but it could have been one you got K'd up on. So good job of getting bat to ball there for him.
And look out, cars. That one was hit hard.
Yeah, I always got an ear out. I do know where to park now, though, but that's my state's on it here. I wouldn't imagine he does. Probably just get into attack mode with 2 outs in the big lead that he has here. And he does exactly that, picking up the first strike of the at-bat. It is a 1-1 count on Gibson. Jan trying to work his way through this. It's been a flawless start for him thus far. Looking, quick check over at first. Peers back, delivers the pitch. Beautiful job of carving that one in there for a strike, too. This has been the thing about Jan tonight. It hasn't just been one pitch that he's been doing all his damage with. Himself out of a bit of a jam here. Plenty of room to do so. It is an 11-0 Cardinals lead, but this is the first bit of trouble that Jan has found himself in tonight. That ball is hit hard by Gibson.
First hit allowed by Hector Jan today. That is the second consecutive time against the Maple Leafs that Jan has gone 4 2/3 hitless. He's now done it once at each park, and just how about baseball, Brent, sometimes? Kirk Gibson was 2 for 23 coming into action on the season today. 16 games played, so he's been more of a pinch hitter / defensive replacement type. He came on for Jordan Mandalay in the game on Wednesday after Mandalay had to leave mid-at-bat after getting nicked on the hand on a ball that deflected off his bat. That was a foul ball. And Gibson now, and this is only his 4th start of the season, and he just catches a 2-strike offering from Hector Jan out front and drills it off the wall, right off the Armstrong birdseed sign there. Nicely done by him. And you think of all the probabilities in a 2-strike count, Jan versus Gibson, that is certainly not at the top of the list, but that's why they play the games.
Yeah, obviously there's a reason for this with him, but Kirk Gibson has one of those names that you feel weird just calling him Gibson. He's Kirk Gibson. That's his name. He has a first and last name that are used all the time. We have buddies like this, you know. It's like everybody has their friends. But there's also guys named Bill Johnson, and they have to be called exactly that. You got to use both names when it's Kirk Gibson. It feels that way. And if he's going to keep racking up hits like that.
When the bullpen is in this mode right now, everybody's stretching, everybody getting loose for the first time. I wonder what's being said down there. Probably couldn't put some of it on air.
Yeah, no, definitely that, but probably also a lot of like, wow, Hector's really good at baseball, eh? As is Dominguez making a play there. We see the big celebration from Hector Jan as he makes his way off the field. I told you he's a treat to watch. It's not just because of the pitching, but mostly because of the pitching. You imagine Luis Bernardo said, oh, come on, you got it in you to get out of this, and that is exactly what he. Boom! I don't know what that is. I don't have a name for that, but I like it, and so does Hector Jan. So do his Cardinals teammates. You mentioned what was said. They're saying we love that from Hector Jan out in the bullpen. I imagine some guys, they like a little slower start to their workday than all of a sudden hair on fire and a guy who is cruising and you got to come in and put out a fire for him. Did not have to do any of that in the inning as Jan continues to cruise in this one.
Yeah, and that one hit is the only blemish in the hit column for Hector Jan. Again, he's got the 1 walk and the 1 hit by pitch to Puig. 9 strikeouts in 5 innings. He's been trying to keep pace in the strikeout leaderboard all season, has Jan. He was 3rd in the league coming into today, and right now I believe he's got to be at first after.
At the picture on the, I'm looking at the picture on that we've got on the CBL website for him. I'm looking at him right now. Frame's pretty similar. got the mustache as well, got the chestnut hair. I'm just saying, if you ever need someone to play the role of Tyler Duncan, I know he's a pitcher, maybe wouldn't give you what you want from the performance perspective, but Tyler Duncan's going to be looking in a mirror as he faces Frankie Gulko in this inning. Gulko, the third Leafs pitcher that we've seen in this game thus far for them. He came in to put out the fire in the last inning after Martinez was lifted, and he will get to start the inning here as there is some bodies up and around in the Leafs bullpen, but you would imagine they would want to get a little more length out of Gulko. Although with the All-Star break lurking around the corner, you're probably not afraid of using any arms tonight either.
No, and in a game like this, with the score being what it is, those get. But man, just a tough job for Rob Butler right now to try and cobble these remaining 12 outs together any way they can.
Yeah, certainly want to do that. Tyler Duncan, do you have any more things you want to anti-jinx him about tonight? You were talking about how he hadn't had an extra base hit in a while. I feel like your line now should be talking about the home run we'd like to see as he gets ready to compete in the home run derby over this weekend. Of course, the All-Star weekend, third edition of it in the Canadian Baseball League. It will be in Chatham, Kent, playing host this year. Of course, the Cardinals know the event well, had a chance to host it last year. Fun night at Burning Arbor, just like it is. Lefty matchup there. Duncan hits one up the middle, and it gets past the shortstop. Bando there not going to be happy about that one, dipping or jumping over his glove. Duncan's thrilled, and he's standing on first. And once again, here we go again for this Cardinals offense.
Yeah, and this time it is Brando LaRue's turn to experience the Bernie bounce. We've seen a lot of balls hit on the ground from Tyler Duncan, especially this season. You know he wants to find some lift here one of these days, and that last top, whoop, right over the glove of LaRue. I don't know if you could call it a hard hit ball, but it definitely had enough life on it to get those late hops. We see it a lot at Burning Arbor. There's a lot of that going on at Christie Pitts too on Wednesday night, might I add, and this time it works out in Duncan's favor.
The Bernie bounce, because you can block that one with your chest. I'm not telling you it would tickle, but I tell you it wouldn't have ended up in center field, that's for sure. Tyler Duncan on base though, and he's got to feel pretty good about that. Good turnaround heading into the All-Star break. Now this is Darlin Herman's spot in the lineup. It's the first time we've seen this spot in the lineup since he was hit in the head earlier in this game. Really scary scene. Good news for Herman. He was able to walk off the field, not exactly under his own power, kind of helped by teammates. He certainly looked incredibly foggy and groggy.
You want to see in any scenario, so just prayers up for Herman and hoping for a speedy recovery from whatever the consequences of that hit by pitch were.
Yeah, no good time for that to happen, but you are going to have a little bit of a break here because of the All-Star festivities. Of course, obviously, Herman slated to be a part of those. I'd imagine that is all very up in the air, and that feels like putting it nicely thus far. We did see Hector Jan find a way to get himself out of the first jam he found himself in the game. You do wonder if his night could be over there, though, because we see Stephen Hospital warming up, or at least playing some catch.
Means that Jan is potentially slated to pitch in the game tomorrow. I don't know. You don't want to get too far ahead of yourself. But yeah, Hospital is not warming up lately.
Yeah, I promise you, Jan deserves it if he does get into the game. Always funny when it's your manager in the position for that, because on one hand, you want to give your guy the spotlight. You want to let him get out there and enjoy what he is rightfully earned, be it an All-Star. On the other hand, let's save those bullets. I like them for the Cardinals, not the All-Stars, that's for sure. Be interesting to see the way it is handled there. Obviously going to be an awesome weekend down in Chatham, Kent, where the Barnstormers play host to All-Star Weekend this year. Saw a Tanner Rempel strikeout, and here we are with Evan McGill up at the dish, finding himself in a 2-2 count. There is Luis Bernardo, as we mentioned, who will be on the road as well in All-Star Weekend. The Cardinals heavily represented, and you can see why, given the start of the season they've had. McGill taking a healthy cut at that one, and the Cardinals, it's got to be the first time tonight we've had, forget back-to-back strikeouts, back-to-back outs. They've been so productive offensively. Now we'll cede way to Dominguez coming up as he looks to...
Saldana was a newcomer to the league. That was his first start, though. Jack Fish officially signed him morning of. Conversations were going a lot longer than a lot previous before that, obviously, but he made his second start last night in Barrie, and he held the Baycats to no runs through 7 innings. So Dominguez remains the only hitter in this league to do any sort of damage off him.
That's a nice little feather to have in your cap. Dominguez in action here right now. Called time before the first pitch of the AB. We see Gulko delivering a strike. Appeared to be a little outside, but I'm just going to give it to him. Clipping the zone there. And it is a first pitch strike for Gulko working against Dominguez here. It's Tyler. Here comes the 0-1 pitch. Golko delivering. High Sox. Ooh, Dominguez. Okay, he's shaking his head. Yeah, I saw where that was. It was up near my face. And given what happened to Darlin Herman tonight, I'm happy he can have a little bit of a light feel about that one, because obviously it had to be scary watching that happen to your teammate.
Yeah, no doubt it's on the back of everyone's mind now, and it can be tough to try and work the inner half of the plate given what has happened here tonight.
Yeah,
No doubt about it.
Also, Dominguez facing a right-handed pitcher for the first time tonight. Been a couple of lefties that he had seen up to this part, so a very, very different look for him. We see Duncan short lead off first. We see a swing from Dominguez there. He's fouling it back beneath the catchers. There hasn't been a lot of them, but a couple of plays Dominguez has had to make, and he's done a good job of it. It's Duncan, a little bit of a lead from first. Golko not even paying attention to him. That one is high, and it's a 2-2 count now on Dominguez.
And Dominguez, we talked about his slump that he had in May, and he's definitely recovered from that. 308, 387, 462 slash line coming into play here today. He's got 8 stolen bases now after his one earlier in the game. That leads the team by a healthy margin.
Yeah, and here it is. We'll see if he's able to do some damage after working himself back into a hitter's count. Hits that one hard on the ground, but foul. Keeping Stephen Hospital alert. Just goes right behind him as he's getting ready. It does certainly look. We'll wait to confirm it when the well deserved for Jan. He was nails in this game. We'll see if we see him at the next frame. But obviously Dominguez would like that not to happen yet. Hits one hard to Brando LaRue, but deep in the hole. Will he be able to beat it out? And he does. Good job of Dominguez. Just the one outfielder, one umpire dealing with the bases tonight. So good job helping him out. He didn't need it. That's showing off the wheels from Dominguez there. That is a hard play in the hole for the Leafs shortstop.
And it was one of those things where LaRue didn't really do anything wrong. Nice range to get that ball, and then a nice throw over to first base too, but Dominguez is just too fast. Any ball like that where it's kind of deep in the hole and it stays on the infield, but
the third baseman for the Cardinals comes to the dish. Got 2 outs, but also a couple of men on here to face Frankie Golko, the third Leafs pitcher we've seen tonight. Golko looking in. He's got the high socks working with the royal blue top. Delivers the pitch. Swung on by Reyes, fouled straight back. I gotta say, this bat child they've got working for the Cardinals tonight, he's working overtime. This kid's getting his steps in with all the foul balls we've seen go to the backstop.
And this is Dougie. He's well known around these parts. If you watch the Take Flight Cardinals documentary on Cable 14, Dougie joined Cardinals Kids Camp first year, and it was
of 5 here at Bernie Arbor Memorial Stadium. We will be back after this. It's another wonderful edition of Friday Night Baseball on Cable 14.
Hello, everybody. I'm Dave Rave, and you're watching Ensemble. We got Dwayne LaForme.
How you doing? Haven't seen you for a
You don't look much like a criminal.
White collar. My name is Zed. For Zondas, I am an exterminator.
It's fine. It has been an adventure.
Introducing the all-new Cable14.com. Watch what you want, when you want. Watch all of Cable 14's content live or use the website's TV guide to search for your favorite program. Discover what local events are happening in Hamilton and learn how to get involved at Cable 14 as a volunteer or community producer. Right here, right now at Cable14.com.
Really, the only difference is the amount of innings pitched. His night is done after 5. Stephen Hospital coming into the game now. Hector Jan's an all-star, and when you watch him tonight, it is very, very easy to see why. There's been a lot of impressive Cardinals performances. You don't score 11 runs without that, but Jan feels like the best of the bunch from what we've seen thus far.
Absolutely, and what else is new, right? And his line score looks about as good as it possibly could for a guy who only went 5 innings, 1 hit, 1 walk, no runs, and 9 last Friday through a complete inning, allowed 1 run on 2 hits, although the earned run that he allowed was on a seeing eye ground ball single through the infield. So as I mentioned, it feels like Hospital has been a guy who's been definitely victimized by the poor batted ball luck. That's going to happen if you're a pitcher sometimes. You just got to stay true to yourself and kind of keep doing what you're doing. Hospital has not been completely himself this season. There is kind of something going on behind that inflated ERA. He hasn't been missing bats. He's been missing kind of up in the zone, which is not something we usually see from him. But again, like the scoreless outing he had last Tuesday against the London Majors, is kind of a great opportunity.
Out of the inning, but not without giving up the 1 run. Obviously, not ultimately a problem for the Cards, as they were able to pick up a win against Welland in that one. But yeah, for the second straight Friday night, here he is following up Hector Jan, and there it is. There's a strike catching the outside of the plate there, and getting his start in the game with the top of the lineup. It's a pretty good way to start it off as he welcomes Yasiel Puig to the dish.
Got a good nickname battle here, Brent. The Doctor versus the Wild Horse.
Those are exceptional ones. Wild Horse, I get it. Doctor, his name's Hospital. Both of these make a lot of sense to me. Sometimes you'll hear a baseball nickname and the matchup. As you mentioned, this is arguably the most trusted reliever kind of heading into the season for the Cardinals here, and it has been very kind of cobbled together the way they've dealt with the back end of games here. Gadget has been trusted. Obviously, Sorosky, another guy that they've leaned on. But in the second half of the season, if it's going to go the way they want, they're going to need a better version of Hospital, and I'm not telling him anything he doesn't know there. Yasiel Puig was hit on the first pitch he saw of this game. I don't think he liked the way that one ran up inside on him there from Stephen Hospital. Obviously not trying to hit him, not trying to put a runner on. Doesn't mean you're happy about it if you're Puig.
That was a pretty epic stare down, if I do say so myself.
Sure was. High. Anytime you're able to throw strikes effectively in the bottom of the zone, especially for a reliever, got to feel good about that. So that's probably a pitch that's really going to set Hospital up for success in the second half. He was able to get back to it. It is a 2-1 count here. A little light heckling of Yasiel Puig. That's what happens when you're a star in this sport. And Puig hits one hard on the ground to Nickel. Gets his body in front of it, but loses it, and Puig will reach. Nickel would love to have that one back there. Frustrating play for a guy who made a sterling defensive play earlier in the game. Did Brandon Nickel. I think he'd want to have that one back.
And once again, no love for Stephen Hospital. That was a tailor-made out and a well-executed breaking ball just off the outside corner. Puig gets his bat to it, and it just eats up Nickel.
Just to the left of Feliz, and he's unable to make a play on it, and the Leafs will go station to station here, and all of a sudden it's runners on first and second with Hospital into the game. 1 out so far in the frame for the Cardinals.
And that is a situation where the injury to Feliz definitely playing a part in how he reacted to that ground ball. If he's feeling 100%, he's been dealing with that groin. It was a calf thing about a month ago. Maybe if his lower body's in great shape, he's making a dive for that ball, but in an 11-0 game, he's trying to preserve his health. Lets it go by the wayside.
Yeah, certainly not the way you would like it. And you've talked about the batted ball luck for Stephen Hospital.
There it is again.
Yeah, that is back-to-back and out on one of those. If you get the ball from Nickel right now, you're looking at almost a sure double play, especially given you wouldn't imagine you make that mistake twice. It's Puig at second, as well as a runner on first here for the Leafs. Threatening. This is really the second time in the game we've seen it. Cardinals have been consistent in putting up the offense last night. The bottom of the last frame was the first time the Cardinals had not scored a run in this game. Obviously, they haven't allowed a run thus yet tonight. It is 11-0 for the Cardinals. Stephen Hospital, exclamation point at the end of his unofficial first half of the season. Hospital looking to get out of it here. If anybody ever needed a ground ball up the middle, it was Stephen Hospital right now. He deserves it, given the way the first 2 grounders we saw in this inning played out, one to Nickel and one just to the left of Feliz. It's a 1-2 count. Hospital wouldn't mind a strikeout either, surely. Here it is. High leg kick delivers. That one is fouled back just over our heads and off to my right. Also known as between me and where the Maple Leafs dugout is. And it's a 2-2 count.
Yeah, didn't quite finish his delivery on that slider. Left it a little up, and maybe if it kind of started in the middle of the plate and darted down where Connect would be tempted to swing, but instead it's an even count.
Yeah, Connect, big boy up at the plate here, DH. And there it is, strike three on the corner for Hospital. Connect not happy about it. He's going to stand there and just let everybody know how displeased he was with that call. He can be as displeased as he wants, but he can also head back to the Leafs dugout, because that's a strikeout for Hospital, his first of the night. Got to feel pretty good about that. This is the danger part of the league, though. Here is Hospital delivering the pitch. That one is once again hit to the left side of Feliz. He'll get there this time, but unable to make the play. Everyone will hold where they are, and all of a sudden bases are loaded. If you're Stephen Hospital, you got to wonder. And again, I don't think there's any level of frustration with an individual teammate or anything along those lines. You just got to wonder, what have you got to do when you get 3 ground balls in an inning and all of a sudden the bases are loaded? It's not the way you draw it up if you're a reliever or any pitcher for that matter.
You know, Brent, I have a very scientific theory that Stephen Hospital has been hexed by an evil demon.
Gonna get out of the inning. About time is what I'm sure Stephen Hospital is thinking. So's Anderson Feliz, and so is Nickel. There it is for the Cardinals. They get out of that one. It's the first time they really flirted with danger, but they've done it in back-to-back innings. Hospital is out of it, though, and all in all, a scoreless inning for Stephen Hospital. We now head to the bottom of the 6th for the Cardinals here as they look to add to the offense. There have been some changes. Well, one change to the lineup. It was Darlin Herman, of course, the 3-hitter starting at first in tonight's game. He has been lifted after he was hit in the head by a pitch earlier in this game. So it's Tanner Rempel into the game playing first and batting third for him. Obviously a we've seen here.
Yeah, and Frankie Golko is going to be back out there on the mound for the Maple Leafs, and kudos to him. It's not easy when you have to go up to one of your relievers and say, hey man, you just kind of got to wear it here tonight. But that's what he has done, and Golko helped the Leafs throw up their first 0 of the evening in the 5th inning recently, so well done by him. And again, he's just going to kind of go as far as he can here in this one.
They do have an arm up and throwing in the Leafs pen. It started out because we're going to get as much out of you as we can in a game like this. Maybe if the Leafs get a couple, because we're going to get as much out of you as we can in a game like this. Maybe if the Leafs get a couple on the board in the last inning, that changes things. Maybe if the All-Star game's not lurking around, that changes things. But yeah, you could see a world where possibly they get another arm up in this one. But Golko is going to be tasked with getting out of the inning. He's going to get the first crack at it. Just in terms of how tough a luck sport baseball can be, you saw it in spades in that last inning there. It was Stephen Hospital. It got 4.
If you're the Cardinals, you cannot look at that inning and feel like that is indicative of the type of pitcher that Hospital is, at least from a results standpoint. It's going to turn around. It's hard to keep the faith, especially when it's a short season and every outing matters, and it's not necessarily a full 162 where you can just kind of let things ride and hope they'll naturally fall back into place. But everybody in this dugout knows how good Hospital is, and again, you just got to feel like things are going to turn for the better soon enough.
Yeah, you certainly will. Generally speaking, if you are the player you are, eventually that will come out in the wash. Baseball is a big sample size sport, and we really haven't had a lot of it thus far. I know we're almost at the unofficial halfway point, but still a lot of baseball left. That arm that's up and throwing in the Leafs pen. Also Feliz up at the dish right now. Feliz was busy last inning, had the ball hit to his left he could not get to, had the ball hit to him that he could not make a play on, and then finally got the ground ball that allowed Stephen Hospital to get out of the inning. But it is a swinging strike 3 for Feliz there.
Yeah, and Feliz saw a couple of changeups there before Golko goes back to the breaking ball. It's tough, and it's really kind of case-by-case basis, the shape of the pitch and everything else, about whether you're comfortable throwing a breaking ball to opposite-handed hitters a lot of times.
Yep, really nice piece of pitching by him there, and you got to be happy if you're him to have the bounce back, because as we mentioned, there might be a lot of him left, despite Sam up and throwing in the bullpen. This is tonight's designated hitter. This is Jaden Brown up at the dish here, digging in, a little bit of a rock as he gets ready, waiting for the pitch from Golko. Deep breath. He's got the sign, just a matter of when he'll deliver. And there it is, but it's low. It's so funny, different pitchers going about things in different ways. After I've watched so many of the Cardinals pitchers this year who are grip it and rip it, like the ball can't be in their glove longer than 5 seconds before it's coming back the other way. Golko, a much more deliberate pace.
But in the near future, you wonder how guys like Golko would be affected.
Yeah, it was something that was discussed a lot when it obviously debuted in minor leagues and then eventually came to Major League Baseball. It does feel like people just adapt. You get get sped up a little bit, and maybe it can take you out of your routine, take you out of, how you want to go about your business a little bit. But it does feel like once you eventually kind of settle in and have a realization of that, it was one of the big surprises of me, because I really thought it would have affected, a handful of pitchers where they're just not the same guy. But it's remarkable professional athletes' ability to adapt to whatever the circumstances are, whether that's a pitch clock or, a challenge.
In the 2020s have worked wonders for the game. I'm still not a fan of the extra innings ghost runner. That one I have a bone to pick with, but the pitch clock and the challenge system and the bigger bases, things like that, encouraging the running game a little more, it's all worked out pretty well.
Jaden Brown there watching strike three, and it's a good thing they put Gulko back here because he has worked very effectively. It does feel like every other sport, when they make a rule tweak, sometimes it works but barely. It feels like baseball has been batting basically 1,000 with all of these. Even the ghost runner, I'll be honest, in a league where you play 162 regular season games, I think there is absolutely a time and place for it in the regular season.
I see that.
I would be sick to my stomach if I ever saw striking the balance of looking for ways to make the game more effective without, taking away from what it is. I know there was a big topic of conversation about the idea of, well, when you go to a pitch clock, are you going to, we all love those moments. That ball's hit hard on the ground by Guerrero, but foul. We all love those moments where the batter's staring down the pitcher and he's looking in to get his sign and he takes a deep breath. That doesn't need to happen for more than 20 seconds, okay? We can have all the drama in 20 seconds, and then guess what? You're probably going to get to do it again. So, no, I think it has been flawless, the rule changes that have been made to baseball. You talk about the bigger bases. You feel like the bigger bases is kind of largely forgotten by a lot of people. It feels like the rule change that is least discussed, but man, oh man, what a difference it can make. Baseball, they say it's a game of inches, and it certainly helps when you got an extra inch or so on the base there.
Yeah, and remember, this was all born out of necessity. Major League Baseball wasn't doing it all just for kicks, right? Baseball was declining in popularity in the late 2010s. It wasn't an enjoyable product for many people to watch, but we've kind of seen a real renaissance here in the 2020s. And it's not the same ballpark, but here in the CBL, you look at the effort that teams
that has been the case here with baseball and the way it's gone along. And it's funny. I've been fortunate enough to talk to some former Major League players about some of the changes, and the two that they bring up most often are the challenge system. There are guys who think they just had, and I'll take their word for it, they have an exceptional understanding of the zone, and they would have that ball could be trouble, but it's not. And LaRue getting all the way over to foul territory to make the catch. And that will be the end of 6 innings here. Matt, I'm enjoying this conversation about baseball. Let's continue it as we go along with this. The idea of what we've seen in baseball, and I was mentioning, I hear people talk about that, the ABS challenge system and how much they feel they would have thrived in that. I also had a chance to talk to Shannon Stewart this week, former Jay, and this is a guy who swiped 50 bags in a Major League season. You don't want to know what that number would have looked like if he was doing it with a literal shorter distance between all of the bases. It is just funny to think how much some players would have thrived in different eras. And speaking of thriving, you've seen it from the Cardinals tonight. Whatever it is you've wanted to get out of this baseball team, other than health and everybody getting out of it fine.
The ERA still came down any way you slice it, and I think the Cardinals matching their offensive output from Wednesday night's loss when there was one out in the bottom of the first inning really set the tone for how the night was going to go, and it hasn't been all smooth sailing, especially on the health front, like you said, but it has been all Cardinals, and you love to see them not take the Leafs lightly and kind of get back to what makes them great and kind of lay it on them here in the second game of this home and home, trying to end the first half off on a good note. And this is going to leave us here with Danny Garcia here in the top, and he was Kitchener's closer last season, so Garcia again not necessarily as much being asked of him here in Hamilton, kind of a soft landing as he goes to a new team. So far in the year, he's got a .587 ERA through 7 games and 7 2/3 innings, 7 Ks to 5 walks for Garcia.
Yeah, the 31-year-old Toronto native has been in the CBL for 5 years. Of course, the newly named CBL for this year, and he is the third different pitcher we'll see for the Cardinals tonight. Of course, Hector Yan performing very well. Stephen Hospital with a bit of an up-and-down outing. There is somebody kind of getting ready, lightly throwing. So we'll see if they're going to kind of go inning by inning here, and that, quite frankly, would make a lot of sense for Luis Bernardo and his club.
Chris Boato getting some light toss in. He came in and got the last out of the bottom of the 8th on Wednesday. Bernardo went to him. The lefty-lefty matchup with Matt Brandt, and he got out of that jam okay.
Yeah, he certainly did. Garcia into this one, and far from a jam, but far from the start he wants, falling behind 3-0. That was as take as she gets. There's been a lot of auto takes in this game.
Swing and miss, just got to locate.
Unable to do so on the full count pitch, and that'll be a first batter walk as Garcia will have to now pitch around a little traffic on the base pass. Again, Tanner Rempel into this game for the Cardinals. If you missed it earlier in the game, Darlin Herman had to leave the game after being hit in the head. Pretty scary scene. Was able to walk off the field mostly under his own power with the help of some teammates. So that is Tanner Rempel over there at first base. Obviously, you don't like seeing that for anybody. You really do not like seeing it for one of the 3 All-Stars. 7-0 here in the top of 7 at home.
Yeah, and you're going to see a quick mound visit here as Luis Bernardo doesn't really want Danny Garcia to waste time and not be throwing strikes, with the score being what it is now. So that's definitely going to be the topic of conversation. And he mentioned the out-of-town scoreboard. I cannot believe how much these Guelph Royals just keep coming back. You cannot count them out of anything. They were down 4-1 going into the 6th inning. London had scored in each of the innings 2 through 5. Travis Keys is dealing, and then in the 6th inning, J.D. Williams, 2-run bloop double. Andy Leader, 2-run bloop single to give Guelph the lead. London, just hard to believe how you can never count these guys out late in games, and the veteran presence on that roster and on that coaching staff, Dean Rommel has been managing a long time, and they've been staying grounded late in games. The Cardinals know that, and they've got them first up on the other side of the break. Can't take them lightly.
That one's hit hard on the ground. Feliz behind second will get there. Makes the out at second. Big throw over to first. Rempel with the stretch and the pick. What a play by Tanner Rempel. I told you, folks. I told you, do not sleep on the glove work from Tanner Rempel. I don't know, he's been doing his yoga while he hasn't been playing. Getting a deep stretch in there. This is a good athletic play by Feliz. Collecting himself, stepping on the bag. Where is it when I'm up there?
Yeah, great defense by both ends, Feliz and Rempel there. And Luis Bernardo has been crushing the mound visits lately. Comes out to talk to his guy after he can't find the zone, and immediately the next pitch serves up an unassisted 4-3 double play. How about it?
See, if it was me, I'm a big visual teacher. They tried every learning style possible with me, and it's like it just all goes over my head. But when I'm teaching others, I like to lean on the visuals. I would have simply pointed to the scoreboard and said, "You see where it says 11 and there's 0 for the other team? How about throw some strikes?" Evidently, all Bernardo had to do was point at Anderson Feliz and tell him he's going to make the play. It's a quick 1-2-3. Didn't feel like it was going to be, but it is from Danny Garcia there. It is a wonderful, wonderful piece of work by him, and it's another effective inning by a Cardinals reliever after Hector Yan spun a gem. We will see. It does look like we're going to see a new pitcher into the game from the Maple Leafs here. It'll be the 4th one we've seen tonight. Of course, it was Gulko who got the ball last time out. Does look like this will be Graham Sim coming in for the Leafs now. Another big righty for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Got a pretty impressive frame as I'm looking at him up here. He's going to want to pound the zone as well, although it's been a much more dangerous proposition against the Cardinals than it's been against the Maple Leafs tonight.
Yeah, Sim, the big righty, 6'4", 204 out of Newmarket, Ontario, 23 years old. This is going to be his 9th appearance on the season, and he's been an effective pitch-to-contact reliever here in this Leafs bullpen. 5.19 ERA through 8 2/3 innings in those 8 appearances, 3 Ks to 2 walks. Turning players and the new guys to the roster. Sim is an alumnus of Madonna University in Michigan. That is an NAIA school. He pitched in 18 games there in the 2025 season, and now he is a member of the CBL's Maple Leafs.
Yeah, certainly is, and it certainly won't be easy for him. Guerrero made the last out last time we saw the Cardinals offense, so I will turn it over to the top of the Cardinals order. That'll all get started with shortstop Brandon Nickel, who picked up a double earlier in this game. One of the 7 All-Stars the Cardinals have. Got 3 starters, and again, the status of Herman. Cardinals deserve it, the way they have put together the first half of the season here. As you keep mentioning, one of the best starts in Cardinals history this season, and you want to take advantage of that with a successful second half.
Yeah, and when you lose to a team below you in the standings like they did to the Leafs on Wednesday, there's a lot of kind of conflicting views that can come into your head and how you're going to think of things and how you're going to look at it. But if you're the Cardinals, you just have to remind yourself, hey, no one before us has started a season this well that has donned this uniform, and they know who they
are. I have commended Tyler Duncan on it. He also is in the Kirk Gibson club. I feel like I call him Tyler Duncan every time. I don't feel like I ever call him Duncan. In terms of the way they've gone, I've commended his patience at the plate. You feel like you still want to have, you talk about this, process versus results. You still want to have the process you want to have every at-bat, despite it being an 11-0 game where you probably, if there's got to be a little part of you that just wants to swing for the fences.
Yeah, and especially in games like this, baseball is a matter of just tuning out the noise and just sticking to yourself. And Brandon Nichols, a guy who really doesn't stray from himself too much. I feel like he embodies that.
He feels like your favorite player's favorite baseball player is how it feels. That one is hit a mile high, and at the last second, Leaf second baseman able to get a glove in front of his face there. That wouldn't have tickled, I promise you that. Nickel hitting it a mile high, but it's not anywhere you want it. And it is the first out of the inning. Graham Sim picking it up, and that leaves way for one of the Cardinals' other all-stars, Tyler Duncan. It's not Rempel because he's in the game now, but all four of the Cardinals' top four in their lineup are all-stars, either as starters or reserves this year. Duncan, one of them. He'll also be in the Home Run Derby this weekend in Chatham-Kent. Here is the lefty, Duncan.
Reason that Chatham was his favorite road park to play in on account of that short porch. With a Home Run Derby there, he's got to be a favorite to three-peat. No wonder he's the 1 seed.
Yeah, certainly. If you just look at the home run statistics in the CBL this year, you might be a little surprised to see him as the 1 seed. But if you know how the Derby goes, you would not be remotely surprised at that. And then, throw in a little park dimensions, park factors that help him out. What has not been helped out is Graham Sim. He cannot seem to find the zone early on in these counts. He did get out of it against Brandon Nickel, but once again, it's a couple of balls, and Duncan watches ball 3 on the outside. None of them really threatening close. Sim really fighting to find it here early on in this outing for him.
Yeah, that fastball.
If you're going to swing on a 3-0 pitch in an 11-0 game, you better be able to do some damage. And I just think with the way that one was going to catch him inside, I don't think Duncan liked the look of it there. We'll see how he attacks this one. It's 1 out in the bottom of the 7th here. Duncan hitting one high, and that's going to go down the left field line. Left fielder ranging over to make the play, and he does exactly that. That is some hard contact. First one we saw from Nickel, not so much. Harder contact from Duncan there, but ultimately got under it just a little too much.
Yeah, hard contact, just got to straighten it out a little bit, and a nice job by Dennis DeBanning. He had a lot of ground to cover on that play. He's kind of laughing at himself there. And man, I forgot how much I used to have to run to get fly balls.
Yeah, there was certainly an adventure in Tyler Duncan's first at-bat of the game where he ran up against the fence and was unable to make a play on it. DeBanning was, but able to settle under that one. This is Tanner Rempel into the game. It's the second time we're seeing him up at the dish here, striking out in his first at-bat. He'd love nothing more than pass the baton to Evan McGill, who's lurking in the on-deck circle. Here is Rempel. It is Shocker, a first pitch ball. Sim delivering another high one here. If you're a Cardinal going up to the plate, one word's got to be in your mind right now, and it's patient, the way Sim has pitched in this inning.
Yeah, and it can be hard to kind of convince yourself and get on the bus and go to Chatham, but the approach hasn't been too bad.
No, it hasn't. And you see Sim firing a strike there, not getting to 3 balls, 2-1. He finds it. 2 outs here in the bottom of 7. Cardinals with an 11-run lead. It's 11-0 here. They started out the game with a 4 spot, followed up with 1, then 2, then 4. But the last couple innings, they've been held off the board here. It's a healthy cut from Rempel, and all of a sudden it is a 2-2 count. You mentioned the All-Stars. They got to get up. They want to get out of here. It's also a thing called a break. If you're not an All-Star, it's a party you'd want to get this. Continue to lead it 11-0 here at Bernie Arbor Memorial. Cardinals looking to put the finishing touches on this. They are 6 out away, and we'll pick it up when we're back on the other side of things. It is Friday Night Baseball on Cable 14.
Hey, you gonna do it? Just beer spray. Relax.
Bear spray is designed to stop a 400-pound animal. On a person, an assault means charges, criminal record, Consequences that just don't disappear. Know someone carrying bear spray? Don't want to tell your parents? Don't want to tell your teacher? And you definitely don't want to call police? Fear not. There's a solution. Crime Stoppers. 1-800-222-TIPS. 100% anonymous. No caller ID, no court. No one will ever know it was you.
This time on Maurice's Easy Kitchen, I am joined by Libby Ward, author of best-selling book, Honest Motherhood, and we're keeping it real here at Ontario Ravioli Retail Store.
Welcome back here at Bernie Arbor Memorial Stadium. A little Friday night baseball, a little Friday night Cardinals domination thus far. It is 11-zip here for the Cards. It has been a case of effective pitching and even more effective hitting for the Cardinals. Started it off with a 4-spot, started it off with a Hector Jan gem, and it has been smooth sailing since then. We have also seen Stephen Hospital get into the game. We've seen Garcia, and now we will have Chris Boada coming into the game for the Cardinals here. I love this approach from Luis Bernardo. You want to send everybody making the catch. Feels like he had a lot of time to figure out where that one was going, and it is a quick out for Boada here in his first battle.
Yeah, it is still a goose egg on the season line for Chris Boada. 4 appearances, 3 2/3 innings, 2 strikeouts to 2 walks, 0 ERA, .82 whip. When he has been used, he has been effective, and he is a pitch-to-contact guy. He calls himself on a good day Dallas Keuchel-esque. He likes to induce some harmless grounders, some harmless pop-ups like the one you saw there, and for a guy like that, pitching in a park like Bernie can...
inning here, so this will be the first time the Cardinals will get a look at him. That one's sailing on Boada, and it goes to the backstop here, where our man Dougie just working, grinding.
Yeah, and Boado tapping his chest there as if to say, my bad. Kyle Pops has a really cool story. He is a two-way guy, was a pitcher, went to play winter ball in Australia. His wife there, hitting instructor. Now he hits. Now he's a two-way player for the Toronto Maple Leafs. He pitched against the Cardinals at Christie Pitts in the middle of May. Pretty cool.
That is a really cool story. Love that. Tough play fair. This is how you draw it up. Stephen Hospital felt like everything that could go wrong went wrong for him, although it ultimately ended in a scoreless inning. Boada and Garcia, they've had a lot better luck with the balls in play, that's for sure.
And this is exactly how it goes for Chris Boado. He is really only caring about one thing, and that is as low of a hard hit percentage as possible.
Yeah, certainly the way you want to go about it here. And, hey, I know the way Luis Bernardo has set it up here, you're probably going inning by inning for each guy. But if you're going to be as effective as Boado has, you're certainly throwing your hat in the ring for another one if that's the way you want to go about it. But still got one more out to get here. That ball is hit hard, but it'll be nowhere near play.
Had 5 saves in 19 appearances, a .289 ERA, and 46 2/3 innings, and that is in a 42-game league. That 46 innings isn't a small number for a major league reliever, but he worked hard that year.
No, certainly not. A little more light contact from Boada, a little more work for Dominguez in right field, and that is a quick 1-2-3 inning for Boada and the Cards. That's exactly how you want to draw it up. The Cardinals will now turn to the offense and see if they can stack on some more. Why wouldn't you want to add to those unofficial first half statistics? Also letting you know, it does look like we're going to see a new arm into the game for the Leafs. He is far from that. He's a Langley, BC native, if this is Lanigan that ends up getting into the game. Also got Sorosky throwing for the Cards in their pen. So it does seem like we're going to go with the inning by inning strategy for Bernardo, and that makes a lot of sense. This is Lanigan into the game, the 5'11", 210 righty out of Langley, BC. Not among the senior players on this Leafs team, just 23 years old is Lanigan.
Yeah, Lanigan, the University of Calgary product, back to his old stomping grounds. He pitched for the Cardinals in 2023 and 2024. In his debut season in 2023, he had a .261 ERA in 38 innings. Real nice work from him. He finds himself with the Maple Leafs now. He didn't suit up in 2025, although he was with the organizing total runs, failed to record an out, struck out 1, and walked 3. So he's going to hope for some better fortunes this time around here in the bottom of the 8th. against some of his old teammates here at Bernie Arbor.
Yeah, I don't know what number he would like less if he's looking at his stat line this season. There is the ERA of 16.62, or there's the WHIP of 3.69. If 3.69 was the ERA, you'd be happy about it, but not WHIP. For the uninitiated, WHIP, really simple. Walks, hits per innings pitched. So effectively, base runners that you're allowing there, and that's over 3 an inning for him. So obviously not the way you draw it up for Gill. An excellent, excellent rookie season for the Cardinals catcher, and one that has him headed to Chatham-Kent for All-Star Weekend. He'll look to lead off the bottom of 8 here for the Cards.
McGill hitting .304 with a .957 OPS, 5 homers, and 20 RBIs. Those 20 RBI second on the team, again entering play here tonight. The swing and miss has been a little bit of an issue for him lately. He had, coming into play, had struck out 7 times in his past 4 games. He had struck out 7 times in his previous 17 games before.
Going to be the dance any player in this league, but specifically a young one will kind of walk all year. That's at least where my mind goes to with McGill here. Finds himself in a 1-2 count. Watching one on the outside again, throwing a breaking pitch on the outside in a potential strikeout count there. Gotta feel good if you're McGill watching that one here. And here is the Cardinals catcher, finds himself in a 2-2 count, leading off the 8th. It's 11-0 for the Cards. McGill getting bad on that one, but fouling it back, continuing to stay alive here. Unlike Sim, who had a little trouble finding the zone, you got to give credit to Lanigan here. He has been able to really find the zone. Waiting for the pitch from Lanigan. Delivers. One is hit hard. We're going to do the thing where we watch the outfielder, though, and he settles under it nicely. Evan McGill probably thought that one could have carried a little more. Launch angle is everything when you hit it that hard. Just got under it a tick, but that was a well-struck ball by McGill.
Boy, sounded great off the bat, and McGill is one of those guys who has enough power to, he can hit one out even at a deep part like Bernie if he gets under it. We've seen him kind of golf a couple out of here down the right field line, but that one just not quite far enough. Pops, settles under it, and makes the catch.
Yeah, continues to work here. Here is Dominguez. He made the last out of the last inning, and we see him here. It's a swing and a miss, healthy cut from Dominguez. Not looking for a patient approach there, and I can't say I blame him because that was a monstrous cut from Dominguez.
Shout out to our PA guy, Sean, once again for passing me this note. I can't believe I haven't mentioned this yet because it's been on my mind all day. But do you know what 1 year ago today was, Brent?
You know what? I actually saw this, did a little research on Instagram. But why don't you tell us all about it? I did see this.
Thank you for handing me the floor, Brent. I appreciate that. You know, the offense is so prevalent in this league, and that he did it at Jack Couch Park, which is kind of in that Christie Pitts tier of being a sandbox and being very hard to hit a ball out of. The man at the plate right now, Carlos Dominguez, making the excellent diving catch to seal the no-hitter in that one. And 1 year later, after an 18-0 win in the no-hitter, the Cardinals are winning 11-0 here. I think July 10th is a fun date for the Cardinals on the calendar.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the 5th inning is far from going the distance, but Jan working pretty deep into this one without giving up a hit. You wondered if there was anybody putting 2 and 2 together there. Yeah, I actually saw it was the Canadian Baseball Hall of Fame, all parts of the game in our country, and obviously the Canadian Baseball League as big a part of it as any other. So no, that is an awesome Cardinals moment that if you were lucky enough to experience it, you'll remember for a long, long time. But even if you weren't, it's important that we highlight it. So, no, well done there. Obviously, that was the crown jewel of what was a really, really good season for Boone last year. But that's the one day of it you imagine he'll remember the most. Here is Lanigan. He's got a couple of outs here. The 5th pitcher, I believe, we've seen from the Leafs tonight. He's got working against Rainy Reyes, the 3rd baseman, one of the 3 All-Star starters for the Cardinals.
And going back to the anniversary, I believe the Canadian Baseball Hall of Fame took a couple things from that start. I believe they have his Gray Road jersey that was game worn. That is, not sure if it's still on display at the Hall of Fame, but they've got it in their collection there. So if you want to go out and see a bit of Cardinals, see a bit of IPL history out there in St. Mary's, Ontario, it is well worth the visit. They've got some nice ball fields by there too. It's a nice area. I've been lucky enough to get out there myself, and another great excuse to remind ourselves of what was a great day for this franchise and a great day for Owen Boone.
Yeah, it certainly was. The Gray Road jersey, as you mentioned, also a ball from that game as well. So awesome that they have those on display. Speaking of ball, could not make the play. That was a good beat on the catcher, Sheetless, who again was a late add to the game. Brandt has been doing the majority of the catching for the Leafs this year, but he's a late scratch in this one. And Dionysus Chiautis has been busy. All-Star break for either team. All-Star break starting up tomorrow. This is one of several games that we've had on the go tonight in the Canadian Baseball League. At least one of those already going final, and yet that's the lone game gone final so far. Guelph are 8-5 winners over London. You mentioned the comeback that we saw there. Reyes fouling one off, and you talk about friendly fire right into his own dugout. 15-2 on Chatham. That one's in the top of 9. Chatham playing host to the All-Star game this weekend. Well, Barrie have a 14-6 lead on Brantford. That one's in Brantford. That one's in the bottom of the 9th. The Red Sox down to their last couple of outs there as we look to put a finish on the unofficial. Barrie coming to town at Bernie Arbor, and as always, you can catch it right here on Cable 14 for Friday Night Baseball. You know, I was going to ask you, Matt, of the best stories of the Cardinals this first half, but hopefully we don't have enough time left in the ball game. Feels like they've all been good stories. Like we sat here having a conversation about Tyler Duncan not having the years. Feels like up and down this Cardinals lineup and throughout the rotation as well. It has just been nothing but good story after good story. It feels like it'd be unfair to ask you to highlight who's had the best first half of the season because there have been so many guys who've really performed strongly.
Yeah, and whether you're watching on Cable 14 or I got to shout out Darlene Herman, just one of the coolest guys you'll ever meet in your life. 36 years old, never got a chance to play professional baseball off the island. He has represented the Dominican Republic in a couple Caribbean series, Pan Am games, things like that, but nothing more. So he was a real black box, an unknown coming in to this season, and he's only walked one time all season. That is got to, as a stats nerd, that is my favorite stat in the CBL this season. Darlene Herman OPSing 987 despite only one walk because he loves to swing, and his bat-to-ball skills are unlike anything you've ever seen before. Cardinals left-handed reliever Logan with everything would kind of be unsustainable and that you'd have to start seeing pitches, but the more and more I watch him, the more I feel like Herman's bat-to-ball skills are just so good that the same standard doesn't really apply to him. And sure, 987
to Dominguez as opposed to Duncan. He threw some juggling in the middle of his, but really nice defense there helping out Chris Bowada. Another thing about Bowada still being in this game, he's still in this game. I would have thought for sure we would have seen Luis Bernardo just kind of going inning by inning with different relievers. But no, Caleb Sorosky still warming, still throwing, but it looks like Bowada is going to get every chance to get out of this game here for the Cardinals. And you love to see that for a guy who, as you mentioned, has had a lengthy career in this league.
Yeah, and it takes all after last year, and it's just such a great sign, and it felt like from a clubhouse perspective at least things got off on the right foot. And Chris Bowado is one of those guys who was brought in here to try and establish that championship culture, a guy who's won in this league before, a veteran, and this is somebody who has done his job and kind of helps create that championship clubhouse. What a diving attempt by Rempel there. Camera didn't get it, dugout was in the way, but that was close.
That was an exceptional effort by Rempel. He's right there. He makes the slide. I think, see, this tells you the story of a good defender. A lot of people would be happy they got over there. Rempel seeming a little frustrated that he didn't make the play. Slid. I think if he would have maybe held off on the slide a second later, he has a chance. But you'll see him. He kind of slides past this one here. As he, you have the warning track to help you out, but you still got to gauge where that fence is. Obviously, with Rempel's history, you don't want to be running anything hard and made of metal. Certainly wouldn't love to see that. Great effort by Rempel, unable to make the play. Speaking of great efforts, that was one by Nickel to get to the ball, and an even better effort by McGill to back that up. But the throw will get by Rempel there. That was a rushed, hurried throw from Nickel. It gets by Rempel. McGill able to get a hand on it, but not until the runner makes his way to second.
And right off the bat, you could tell that was trouble from DeBanning. It caught a weird part of the bat there, not necessarily on the barrel, a little cue shot up the middle, and I don't mind Nickel charging. He had time to make that play. Valiant effort, probably not too consequential at this point in the ball game that it got away, and Dennis is going to get to second. But outside of Herman, though, there's really a lot of things you could shout out with this team. The starting pitching ERA still leading the league, the offense kind of reestablishing itself, and the fact that you could go to so many different ways. I mean, Hector Yan, we saw it again tonight, just at his best right now. He is authoring a career year with Hamilton after being away last season in 2025, so the Cardinals are definitely happy that he's seem to save his true best self for
not just from what you've seen from the pitching, but what you've seen from the offense. I mean, so dangerous early on, jumping all over the Leafs starting pitching, and then it just kind of continued. It was 4 in the first, 1 in the second, 2 in the third, and then another 4 spot. And then since then, to their credit, Leafs have kind of settled things down largely. But when you put up 11 runs in the first 4 innings of the game, it's going to give you 5 innings of the game, it's going to give you a pretty good chance to just kind of settle in and be on cruise control. And it's really felt like that. There was the one moment with base,
but the great start they've had, but the way they've been playing, and you look at just kind of how up in the air and coin tossy a lot of their losses have been, it does feel like, I mean, as I said about the bullpen, that the best could truly be yet to come for this team in the second half.
And here is Boada, the lefty, working with the lefty-lefty matchup. Working the count here, started out with 0-2, now it's at 1-2. Again, this has been a very effective way, exactly the way you would look to jump into the All-Star break. Obviously, thoughts go out to Darlin Herman. Hope everything is well with him. Also a member of the umpiring crew having to leave tonight's game. So, yeah, some hairy of those gentlemen there. Just like Chris Boada is thinking of trying to finish this one off. Would love to head into the All-Star break, putting the finishing touches on a shutout win for the Cards. He's going to look to do that. There's a runner on second. It's a 1-2 pitch. And, man, this is excellent defensive hitting right now by the Leafs. Fouling off, I believe this is that's the third straight pitch he's fouled off in a 1-2 count.
Yeah, Chialtis making Boado work. And now the second left-handed hitting Leafs catcher that Boado has had to face this week.
Yeah, you can be a lefty hitting catcher. They do not like it when you throw with your left hand if you're back there. I promise you, they don't like it. Here is Boada, 1-2, trying to clip the outside of the zone. Thought it had a chance, but it doesn't to stay alive, and it is a 2-2 count. Boada's got to be wondering at this point, what can I throw to get it past him? I don't even really care if it's a strike. Just what can I do to get it past him here? Because Chialtis has just found a way to get a piece of wood on everything, it seems like.
Yeah. I mean, if this is target practice foul ball-wise, he's doing a great job.
He really is.
Everything in the same spot.
Yeah, and here it is, Boada delivering. That one is tapped up the middle to Feliz. Going to be a tough play. Couldn't quite get the glove down, and they're going to have a run come across here. Unfortunately, we'll tap it up the middle. Maybe need a little bit of help from Anderson Feliz there if you're Chialtis to get aboard, but that's a really good professional at bat from him.
Yeah, and kudos to him, even though it's 2 outs in the 9th and a rout, for not taking the at-bat off by any means. And Chris is definitely going to be frustrated that he was not going to be able to complete the shutout, but silver lining, that run is not earned, demanding reached on the throwing error from Brandon Nickel. So Boado's ERA is still going to be a nice sparkly 0 if he can get out of the rest of this here.
Yeah, we like that. Great job on the wide shot. 2 outs in the top of 9. Cardinals looking to get back in the win column. They have their win streak snapped earlier this week. Gibson hitting one. It's going to go out to Duncan. He's going to have to charge in. Nickel going to have trouble making the play. It ends up being Nickel who picks it up, and that ball just dropped in no man's land, and all of a sudden got a lot of wiggle room. But when you want it, when you have a chance to put the finishing touches on a ball game, you want to. I'm sure the frustration mounting a little bit for Boada here.
Yeah, some more soft contact, and he's not going to like that he is not yet out of this ball game, but really not much you could do about any of the batted balls he's induced so far. The Leafs have placed them perfectly, which is not necessarily a repeatable skill, especially on those soft line drives, but he's got a lefty coming up now and another chance to put him away.
Road Royal Blues with the gray pants, Cardinals in the all-white fit tonight. Of course, red caps as well. It's Chris Boada on the mound. Got runners on first and second. 1 ball here. That one is fouled back. Also call that a strike. And Boada getting himself in an even count here. It is a 1-1 count for Boada as he looks to put the finishing touches on this, or sorry, a 1-1 count for Boada here as he looks to get out of this jam that he finds himself in. Again, plenty of wiggle room. Sorosky still standing in the count to 2-2. Speaking of twos, a lot of them in this game. There's 2 outs, there's 2 on, there's 2 balls, there's 2 strikes. The only thing we haven't seen 2 of is Maple Leaf runs, and Chris Boada wants to keep it that way. It is 11-1 here in the top of 9. Boada, quick check on second. That one is tapped on the ground, but it'll be foul.
Man, they're just not going away.
They simply refuse to lose. All night it hasn't been that way, but man, a valiant effort here in the top of 9 from the Maple Leafs. They don't want to go into the All-Star break with the Cardinals picking up an 11-1 win to head into the All-Star break. What a night for baseball here. What a night for Cardinals offense at Bernie Arbor Memorial Stadium. And that'll be it for the unofficial first half of the season for the Cardinals here. Hector Jan spinning a gem. The Cardinals with plenty of offense, and they're back in the win column despite that little road blip with a loss on the road in Toronto this week. Here they are back with an 11-1 win. Just everything you could have asked for in a first half that feels like it's been kind of a storybook first half. What a way to end it. Feels like it was a facsimile of everything we've seen in the first half of the season tonight.
Yeah, it sure was. And the Cardinals, 7 of it. You'd love to have that game on Wednesday night in Toronto. You see Yadier Martinez there going up to Luis Bernardo, presumably to send his well wishes to Darlene Herman there. But hey, any way you slice it, 7 of 8 going into the All-Star break is just a fantastic way to go about it for the Hamilton Cardinals. They move up to 14-8, keeping pace ahead of the Guelph Royals by 1 game after Guelph stormed back to beat London earlier tonight. The Cardinals are in a playoff spot. It looks like it's anybody's league. There's a lot of chaos dogfighting going on at the top of the league standings with London, Barrie, and Welland. So the door is wide open for them. The schedule's going to pick up. They got a lot more games. They got to play their remaining 26 games in about the span of a month and a half after playing their first 22 in the span of about 2 months here. So hopefully the season doesn't speed up on them too much. But with the way they're playing right now, it kind of feels like they're just scratching the surface.
The Cardinals up for the success. You know, he spun a gem to start things off. The Cardinals gave him a 4 spot. He didn't need any more than that. They kept tacking it on. Now, last week we saw Emily. She got hit with the water shower or the Gatorade shower, whatever it is there. Good job by her getting out of Dodge, because far from cold, but I don't know. It's not 2 in the afternoon anymore. I don't want to have cold water dumped on me. That's for sure. So great night from Hector Jan. Great night for the Cardinals here. And it's been an excellent first half of the season for the Cards. Matt, always love having you alongside me here. Always love watching the Cardinals win. Caleb Sorosky made sure to keep himself busy. Didn't end up getting into the game, but we did see him throwing the water on Jan there. But really able to lean on the starting pitching that we've seen. I know we are going to talk to Hector Jan in just a second here. Once we get the headset on him, there are plenty of Cardinal All-Stars that we're going to see this weekend, and he is one of them, acting like an All-Star tonight and performing like it as well. You know, he's one of 2 Cardinals pitchers that we'll see. Frazee Sadames was also named an All-Star, but of course the injury will keep him sidelined from that, but Boone and Jan will be there as well. I believe we have Hector Jan. I'm not sure if we've got him yet. Hector, can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Before we talk about how great you were tonight, I want to share.
So hopefully he'll be better a couple days, so you know.
Was it hard for you to get back into the game? Obviously, pitchers, you know, you have a rhythm that you go about it. That was a long layoff for you. You were still able to perform after coming back into the game. Was it harder for you with that long gap between the 2 innings? Yeah, it was difficult for you. What's going through your mind when you're trying to do that? Is it staying loose? Is it trying to stay locked in? You know, some pitchers, they don't like to talk during the game. I can't imagine you're that way, though. What are you doing to try to keep yourself?
And then be an All-Star. So I want to pitch, but I can't, so, you know, because I pitched today and I All-Star a couple today. But so I go to have a fun right there.
The Cardinals fans are happy you used up your arm tonight. I got to be honest. I know you're probably upset you don't get to pitch in the game, but you used the arm well tonight. Congratulations on an awesome first half of the season, and enjoy the All-Star weekend when you get to watch instead of pitching, Hector.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it.
There he goes, Hector Jan, the winning pitcher tonight. Not remotely surprised the way he spun a gem. There's been a lot of that this season. Matt, always love having you with me. Thanks so much to everybody, all the cast and crew, Cameron.
Get ready to blast the past with Retro Game Time. Watch as gamers from around Hamilton battle it out in the ultimate retro gaming showdown. Who will outplay?
Roles, I'm proud to be a cancer survivor. I was unexpectedly diagnosed with breast cancer in 2010. Just days after my first round of chemo, I joined my very first Bright Run, and I've been coming back ever since. Today, I participate not only as a survivor, but also as a Bright Run funded researcher from McMaster University. Bright is more than a run. It's a powerful celebration of community, hope, and what's possible when we come together. Every dollar raised stays right here in Hamilton, supporting patients, research and care at the Dravinsky Cancer Center. I'm honored to serve as this year's Bright Run spokesperson. I hope to see you all on Saturday, September 12th at Christie Lake
You joined us on Saturday, September 12th at Christie Lake Conservation Area for our 19th annual Bright Run. Help us fund critical breast cancer research right here in Hamilton. Visit brightrun.ca for more information.
Today on Hamilton Life, we're going to talk about the film Dear Grandpa, It's Michael. And the official voice of Ram Rodeo Tour, Jennifer Gordon, is here.
It's Pride Month. Ray Lockdust here to talk about the challenges facing the queer community in Hamilton. Plus, we'll be learning about the annual Ikebana Spring Flower Show and how you can put together a beautiful arrangement.
Chef Shannon Trapp from Behind the Green Door will be here to show us a few of their menu items that are 100% gluten-free. And Hamilton Life's Harmony McKenzie checks out the deals at Habitat for Humanity's Restore.
All that and so much more coming up on this edition of Hamilton Life. Our shows for the season are going to come to an end, and then you're going to see Linda and I on a lot of repeats. Hello, everyone. Mike Fortune here, Linda Rourke. And Linda, the summer is going to be here before you know it.
It's unbelievable. I don't know how we're in the first week of June, and
flies by, doesn't it?
It does fly by.
And you know, June is a crazy time with graduations and proms for those that are still in that world, and then of course you get into August for those people who have graduated, and then you're getting into university. Never a good time to do it.
No, that's true. That's true.
There were some things you wanted to
well,
touch
just
base
because
on.
there's always so
You're
much
getting
going
ready
on
for
through the summer,
too,
right?
yeah.
So I've already got tickets for Beer Fest. I'm a huge craft beer person, so I'm super excited.
Waterfront website and see what bands are playing, but great way to spend a Thursday night
It is.
too.
There's lots of good things that go on in the city throughout the summer. So, you know, get out and explore and see what's happening. Just hiking trails and the waterfalls that we all know about, but half the people who live here have never gone to see them.
And it's a shame. And I don't know.
See them.
I love water. Like if I could, I'd spend all
know.
my time down by Pier 8, Pier 4.
I know, it's so nice down there.
It's peaceful. It's tranquil.
Yeah.
The whole works about it, right?
Yeah, they've done a nice job. Even the club, like the yacht club that's down there. A lot of people don't even know that's there.
Yeah.
You know, it's lovely.
Those big ships and all that. It
not
wasn't
imagine.
glamorous.
No, I
It was
could
not
not
glamorous, folks. It was not
no,
glamorous.
Thanks. And later on the show, I did want to mention this because Harmony is going to visit the Restore, the Habitat for Humanity Restore, which I love. Like, I'm a total upcycler. You know, clothing, furniture, home
Is that the
decor,
new term,
everything.
upcycle as opposed to recycle?
I upcycle. Yeah, you upcycle.
You
'cause it
upcycle to
existed and you
recycle.
upcycle, and then you're recycling. It's all, you know, it's all connected,
lot of
Mike. But I
cycling
love
going
doing
on.
it. And so I'm really excited that she's going to the Restore because they've got some really great finds there, and it's all going to support Habitat for Humanity, which I love even more.
Let's just hope when they're doing these Habitat for Humanity houses, they don't do.
Please tell me it's not coming back.
You grew up in a house, I'm sure, that had some
we
shag
had shag
carpeting.
I think it was orange.
Yeah, the Fortunes. We had
What
shag
is that,
carpeting.
Mike?
It was kind of an orange brownish too. I don't know. But it was something that, it was the style. But like I said, I think it is coming back a little bit.
Yeah, and never, ever should there be carpeting in a bathroom.
Or on the walls, period.
Oh my God.
But yeah, in the bathroom.
Yeah. Anyway, things do have a way of making their
Talk
way
amongst
back,
yourselves
so.
about that while Linda gives you the what's
That's right.
coming up.
Okay. After the break, I'll be chatting with Ray Lockdust about some of the Pride events. I can't wait to dive in, but first you brought an icebreaker.
I did.
And I love this. So what is this?
All right, so this is Uniced. It is the Uncloseted Comedy Icebreaker. So before every show, we have a social. And
so good.
So to kind of help people ease into chatting with each other, because not everyone expects a social at a comedy show.
No.
We have a few games that we do, one of which is Uniced, and another, which was invented by Queer Coffee Hamilton creator Wolf, is called That's Gay.
Okay.
So this
love
one,
both names. Excellent.
Oh yeah, we love to name things after our community. There's so many words to play on.
Yeah, and it's so creative too, and fun, right?
Yeah,
Put
exactly.
a little twist and spin on it. So this
Yeah.
one you drinker, but I love craft beer.
I know the difference. It's
right.
You have to be careful with it.
You do. You
Yeah.
really do. But that is really fun. What a great way to get people talking. And that's so much about what you're doing, you know, in everything in the community, to get people out, to get people communicating with each other and finding a place that they feel really welcomed and comfortable, and therefore uncloseted comedy, which I love. So talk a little bit about that, Ray.
Okay, so Uncloseted Comedy is my baby, despite my cats also being my babies.
Of course.
So we are in our 4th year. So this is going to be our 4th Uncloseted Comedy Pride Festival, which is the anniversary, which falls on the anniversary of also our first show, which was Hamilton Pride, which is, we weren't associated with official Hamilton Pride, but it was the Hamilton Pride comedy show.
Okay.
Before it had a name. And it was a blast, so much so that they were like, let's do this monthly. And
even better.
Exactly. So through various reasons that aren't important, we're at the Staircase Theater now, where we do a monthly show on the 2nd Thursday of every month. So every show begins with a queer event. Seems to happen on Thursday. There are so many.
It's a good day to have an event, though. I find a lot of people will go out on Thursdays.
Exactly.
It's good.
Yeah. So that's where you can find Uncloseted, except for this weekend, or I guess never.
Yeah, well, yeah, at a young age. And so you went to Second City and trained in Toronto, which is really awesome. And how was that experience?
It was amazing. And even before Second City, I also studied at the Impatient Theater Company, where I got, I have 12 years of improv experience.
Wow.
And I am technically going into my 10th year of stand-up comedy, or my 10th year will be next year, but I'm already thinking ahead to the next festival, where it's going to be our 5th year and in my 10th year. So I'm hoping to do something special at next year's festival.
And what attracted you to comedy, other than it was in the house when you grew up? Because I think
in improv, and before that I was in acting. So when I first left high school, I was just like, I'm going to become a nurse so I can help people save the world. So I went to school for nursing, and I was depressed. I was so depressed. I just stopped taking the subway. It
was a lot.
So, yeah. So then I dropped out of school and got 2 full-time jobs, because that's less stressful. And while there, I was like, when was the last time I felt joy?
Yeah,
and that was
what a great
acting.
thing to revisit
So,
too, right?
yeah.
Is finding that joy in your life. Like, I think it's so important.
Absolutely. That's why Uncloseted focuses on the celebration of being queer joy. Find these moments of joy. That's something that you always can have control over. And while sometimes it's been, I've even said myself that joy is the strongest form of resilience. Sometimes we learn that there are stronger forms of resilience, but let's not get into that. Let's talk more about.
Yeah, and I like what you're saying. I do like that. I think it's a great way to look at it, and a good perspective to have on life. And I really like what's going on. Of course, June is Pride Month, but there's things going on throughout the year, and it's connecting community and really giving people a space is overall what you're doing, and what everyone connected to this is doing. And I just think that's really special.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for seeing that. It's so important to have these specific groups, because I've had people say things like decline being on the show because yeah, I'm bi, but I don't make it my whole personality, and it's just that's not what the point is. That is a sentence to me that is filled with shame, because someone sees as being open, and a lot of those parents do regret how they reacted, and I've had to tell those parents, like, you're taking the step in understanding that that wasn't good. And all you can do is move forward. You can still be a great mom or dad. You can be a great parent, even if you've made mistakes in the past, because it's willing to admit that you've made those mistakes and learn from them that make you worth speaking to and being that parent.
Wow. That's like here we are, you know, talking about closeted comedy, and you come out with something as poignant as that I think, you know, people watching, it's going to mean a lot to them. And the fact that, as I said off the top there, that we're still having to talk about this in 2026. There's still so far to go, but we have also come a decent amount, right?
Absolutely. And that's another conversation that I've discussed a lot, where people are upset that the queer community wants too much because they want to be respected. And it's like too much. Like Dave Chappelle has said that the queer community has pushed and said that we want too much too fast, without realizing that the fight has been going on a lot longer than people think, because so much of it has been hidden. So much of it hasn't been in the public eye, and that's why it seems everywhere now, because for one of the first times in like recent history, we're allowed to actually be year, and it's a great place for people to feel comfortable, accepted, and be part of the community. So thank you. Thank you so much.
Great to have you here.
Thank you. It's been so great.
Well, now with more on what's happening, additional things happening across Hamilton, let's head over to Paul with the Vibe.
Thank you, Linda. And I don't know about you, but then you'll be entered into the draw to win some tickets to one of the fantastic shows at the Brock Music Festival. A couple of events coming up this week. Barton Street has its annual street festival on Saturday, and so does Ancaster with its Heritage Days. And then looking a little bit further ahead, music and dancing is coming to the waterfront at Pier Park Crawl, of course, with street closures June, July and August, the second Friday of the month. And then in July is the Craft Beer Festival, music and craft beers. And then at the end of the month is the Lucky Lion Night Market happening at Bayfront Park. And then finally in August, looking forward to the...
Dear Grandpa, it's Michael. Anthony Carnello and actress Isabel Hyde. Hello and welcome to both of you. Thank you very much for being here today. Nice to see you.
Thank you.
Anthony, let's start with you first in regards to this play as the writer. And I understand this is coming from a true story.
For music.
Oh, wonderful. Good stuff. If you need to know more about Brock, we can talk after the show. My son's here. As an actress in this play, what's this experience been like for you so far to this point?
It's been a wonderful experience. I think I'm very grateful to have such a powerful project to help me learn more about acting and to start kind of getting into this passion that I have. It's such an important story to share, and I think that we're both very grateful to be a part of it.
And Anthony, as we look at this film and how you've had to develop and put it together, what have been some challenges for you for this project?
Well, being on the spectrum myself is mostly capturing, well, not just the representation of the autism spectrum and neurodiversity in the respectful way, but more of just the on the autism spectrum not getting the proper representation that they're getting. There's a lot of examples which I won't list them here, but we'll be here all day. But yeah, looking like some recent examples, they mostly see as stereotypes and more than actual people. And now the goal for Dear Grandpa's Michael is to capture not just the right representation, but also to spread awareness in that community. He's great, and to get this positive feedback from what we have got so far within this rough cut, I think it's very important to me.
And Isabel, back to you. How have you prepared yourself for this role? What are some things you're doing? Are you doing any particular research? How are you immersing yourself into this?
Well, I've known Tyrone a very long time, so this project has been something we've talked about a lot even before I was cast into this role. The content, because I think that helps you convey the story better and have a true understanding.
Yeah, I really like how you said that. And coming from a young adult like this, who's already understanding it, already seeing it, for someone like yourself, Anthony, that must be really satisfactory for you, knowing that they're just running with it, they're understanding it, they're kind of getting understanding what their director has had to deal with for so many years as well.
Yeah, definitely. And that's mostly the challenge of being a autistic director. It is directing Michael, because keep in mind, Michael is playing different people, including Isabel in the film. I think that's give us more of that advantage because, well, we'll mostly don't usually get somebody that's non-spectrum to play someone like, hypothetically, Michael, for example, and the
Right.
betrayal will be like very assaulting to that community. But with the case of Michael, since he's playing himself, he's an actual person, it makes the film even more special, and that's the goal that Dear Grandma's Michael, and not just me as a
two are working together on
Yes.
camera now, which must be really important.
Yes, that's true. It's really a community that we have within our group that we've created.
Super. We got to run quickly. Where can people start to kind of see this stuff on air, online? Where can people watch this stuff, Anthony?
We have an Instagram page for the film, Dear Grandpa's Michael.
Okay.
You get to learn more about the project as well. And we're also, Tyron, who's the producer, he has recently announced he's going to do a community screening within our first Hamilton area at the Stony Creek Optimize Center on October 28th, so you may be able to get a good glance of what's
up here. But thank you, and thank you so much for putting so much into this and getting that stigma and that information education out there. It's so important. So thanks to both of you.
Thank you for
Thank you
having
for
us.
having us.
It's a pleasure. When we come back, we have the official voice of Ram Rodeo Tour, Jennifer Gordon. We'll see you right after this, folks.
Oh, hey there, my name is Steven Sobot, and I'm your host for Breaking Pack. Other sports, too, what other card game I get my hands on. Catch us on Mondays at 8:30 p.m. Check out Breaking Pack here on Cable 14 to quench your thirst for cardboard addiction.
Food in general is just, you need it for mental stability. And sometimes if you don't have that access to food, you just can go mentally in a downward spiral. Sometimes it's hard living paycheck to paycheck. If it wasn't for a food pantry, some days I would probably not be eating at all.
Well, welcome back to Hamilton Life. The Ram Rodeo is the largest and richest live-action rodeo tour on this side of Canada, bringing a taste of Western cowboy culture to Ontario. And joining me now is the official voice of Ram Rodeo, Jennifer Gordon.
Thank
Great
you
to
so
have you.
much.
It's
I
so
so
good to have you
appreciate
here.
you having us here.
Well, I'm loving it. First of all, I always love the look of Calcé.
It is. It's going to be a humble brag moment for me. It's an American Hat Co. I picked it up in Las Vegas at the National Finals Rodeo. It's our Super Bowl of rodeo.
Oh, that's awesome.
So it happens one time a year and to blow you away. Like even to me, when I found out there was a $10,000 cowboy
my
hat,
God.
I'm like, pardon?
Yeah.
So
that's crazy.
When you're out at the bar looking for a cowboy, if he's got the gold buckle on his American hat, he's wearing the $10,000 one.
Wow. So saddle up next to that cowboy.
To the ladies.
$10,000.
The boys get their glory later.
Yes.
And then we do events like barrel racing, which is also a ladies only event, saddle bronc riding, bareback riding, bull riding is everyone's favorite. And we offer youth events too. We're building cowboys and cowgirls here in Ontario, and that is what we pride ourselves on, especially as a tour. We have a Build a Cowboy school right here in Brantford,
Oh,
essentially.
no way, just
Yep.
down the road.
Yeah, Rocket. And then you get to, like, if it's something you've always wanted to try and you want to end it there, or if you want to continue and keep rodeoing, it's always an option as well.
And then there's this amazing tour that you guys are doing, and there's stuff happening from now right into October, and the championships take place at the Ancaster Fairgrounds.
Exactly. So we do 16 stops. So we
That's
go
good.
rain or shine
There
at a
you go.
road community TV.
Love it.
And I did this job over here, and I had to talk with Ross Miller, the producer of the Ram Rodeo Tour, and he's like, "You're actually really good." He's like, "Do you want to come announce a rodeo with me?" And I'm like, "Sure." And
that's how it started.
A decade later, I'm still I am now the voice of the Ram Rodeo Tour.
The official voice of Ram Rodeo Tour. And the thing is that you're out at pretty much every single weekend. You're a mom, so kids go with you. It's wild. Now, they're a lot of fun. I've been to a rodeo. I enjoy it. Some people, however, little concerned about the horses.
You know what? It happens all the time, and we love animal lovers. So they travel to the rodeo, they buck for 8 seconds, and then off they go back to their farm. And then all of our cowgirls are pretty much self-contracted, so they bring their horses to the rodeo and they treat these animals like kings or queens. And we have an open door policy. Nothing is closed off. You can see into the back of our chutes, and we welcome people. If you've never been, come a few hours early to the rodeo and you can actually see how
That's
everything
great.
is handled.
Yeah, a bit of education there too. I mean, rodeos go back to the early 1800s, and when it started, you know, it was
They move cattle from field to field, or they have to doctor animals, and they would have to rope them, or they would have to run really fast to get them. And it was just like all of a sudden it became a competition to be able to show off your skills, exactly like you said. And then of course it's developed. You know, we're in 2026. The same things, people don't always want to see the same things. It happens with every single industry. So that's why we've made it a little bit more Western entertainment. We've added an event called the Rescue Race that's so much fun.
I just love the name.
You know what? It's our only team event, so you and I could put a team together.
That's cool.
But this is where it gets wild and Western. So you gallop in on your horse, your partner is down at the end, and you've got to jump up and get on the back of the horse. And we've got to cross the finish line, all
No
three of us
way.
together, you, me, and the horse.